Aggies football, KTFM Floresville, San Antonio's Sports Center.
The NBA Finals continued last night as the Indiana Pacers took a 2-1 lead with a 116-107 win behind Benedict Matherin's 27 points off the bench. Game 4 tomorrow right here. In the NFL, we have a release date for the Netflix Dallas Cowboys docuseries, America's Team, The Gambler and His Cowboys. It's going to drop August the 19th on Netflix. I'm Rob Thompson for 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Good morning, everybody! Whoop, whoop! It's a small Friday. Ooh, I can taste it.
What, furniture?
I can taste it.
That was horrifying. Don't ever do that again.
Yes. Sometimes I turn into Buffalo Bill.
That was terrifying.
I can taste it.
Don't do that, man. That's not good for anybody. Yeah, that's
I see the raindrops on your
I should have
neck.
said do it some more. Oh, do it, Daddy. God, it is way too early and it's horrifying outside.
Oh, don't be afraid, Rob.
God,
Don't you hurt my dog, bitch.
stop it. Man.
Oh, well, friends, fire up the brigade bar, fire it up. AJ was wrong again. Looks like Mama's wrong again. No, Colonel Sanders, you're wrong. Well, AJ was wrong this time as looks like, you know what, Rob? Looks like we're going to have to work on Juneteenth, unfortunately. There will be a game 6 at a minimum of the NBA Finals. Well, I mean, I guess it could end in 5 technically at this pace, but it won't. If that were to happen, I would be really, really dumb. But the Indiana Pacers get a 116-107 win over the Thunder, and this was not – Game 1 felt like Game 1 felt fluky. Game 1 felt like –
Well, I mean, leading by 0.8.
yeah, Game 1 was –
it's the definition of fluky.
Yeah. That's the worst part, too, is like I was right about Game 1. That when you lose money on these things, it's like, they should have won by 1 million in that game.
But the fact is you weren't right.
No, I wasn't.
I mean, you could say it,
Of
but
course.
I mean, none of us were.
Yeah, but you know what, Rob? It's decisions, not outcomes,
But see,
is the key. Like when you're any
Yes.
type of prognostication, like you're going to be wrong a certain percentage of the time, but at least when you're wrong and you know if like things 9 times out of 10 go the way they're supposed to go, you win.
That's why you come to this with a gambler's mentality, and I'll never have that mentality. I approach things in a different way, and I'm starting to doubt my eyes. I'm starting to doubt what I consistently see. I'm questioning what's going on and what I believe is going on because what happened last night
That's reasonable.
was just not. I don't understand what happened last night without going back and was it extraordinary coaching? Was it just Benny Matherin going nuts? What happened? I mean, turnovers and flat play, and they did enough right things to stay competitive, but so many wrong things that you wonder, is this them or the team causing them to act this way? I don't know, man. What I fundamentally believed is not true, and reevaluation is necessary.
Well, I have to say credit where it's due. The Pacers defensively particularly to close out the first half and the game. Second quarter, fourth quarter. I mean, they looked like a team. I've never seen them look like that before.
Not against Oklahoma City. I mean, the
against
15-point crash, I think, is living in the minds of these kids. I think they're getting awfully tight. Again, I don't know what to trust. Is it Indiana or is it OKC? Is it coaching? Is it nerves? Is it physicality? Is it reffing? I mean, I'm sure there's a little bit of all of that in what happened last night. But I'm starting to think what I didn't think it was repeatable might very well be repeatable.
Yeah, maybe. Listen. I'm not backing off of my stance. I still believe what I believe, but it is certain. I mean, this is the Pacers. I have to give credit. They are better than they are at least playing better than I thought they were. And there is something to, you say profit taking sometimes when you talk about it. They split on the road, so they already won that one get on the road. There is something to man, we've already done more than anyone expected us to do. It
helps to be at home for the first time in 25 years and doing all that kind of electricity. And we knew that was going to happen. It's not, again, all the things the reasons we're going to give for Indiana winning, I'm going to look at as an excuse for Oklahoma City's loss. I don't know what's behind this. I don't know if it's failure or great achievement on one end. You know what I mean? Is it Indiana truly that good, or is Oklahoma City truly that fragile?
Well, here's the thing. I really believe it. Answer this question. If Indiana loses this series in 6 games, has this been a successful playoff run for them?
And yeah, it would have been a monumental achievement.
Yeah.
Because by the nature, they were the underdog.
If the Thunder lose in 7,
it'll go down as one of the classic collapses of all time.
That's the thing. So, which one of those teams do you think is carrying pressure? Well, there is something to being able to play sort of freewheeling, and you could kind of see Dagnall. I don't want to say nutting up.
Well, he's tightening up.
But he's certainly not. He's not trusting as many guys as he's trusted most of these playoffs. It's really the 5 guys that started, counting Wallace, Hartenstein, and Caruso, and everybody else is kind of being phased out. And this is a team all year long. All we talked about was they're so deep.
Well, Joe came in 3 fouls in 2 minutes.
He came in for that reason, I'm pretty sure.
Right? And he actually hit a shot, so you felt like there was little things that I saw going on. But again, this might be there's something afoot that I can't quite figure out what it is. It might just have been nerves, and the electricity in Indiana was so much that the crowd carried them. But OKC knew what was going to happen. They've been in this situation before, and they've been in it where they got their ass kicked, and they still rolled in and laid an egg. I mean, I don't know what else you can do.
I would be curious if I went through Shea's game log this season. How many times did Shea play 42 minutes and the Thunder won? Because my guess is not many.
Well, no, because they're normally winning by 15, 20 points. So, yeah.
So the amount of wear – and you know what? Again, this is another credit to the Pacers. The Pacers wore on Shea last night for the first time. They really threw some defense at him, some physicality at him, and you could tell for the first time they made him uncomfortable. And they were not letting him get the ticky-tack calls that he gets some at times. He did not get a home whistle, and he did not adjust. It was not a good game for Shea Gilgeous.
Well, okay. Of the 3 games, we had 38 and 34, but I don't think anybody'd quantify that first game as a good game.
No, it wasn't either.
You know what I mean? That was a volume Kobe Bryant kind of game. Again, is this coaching? Is Carlisle luring this guy into parts of the court where he's just ineffective? And I noticed, and Edwin brought it up, I want to make sure you get some credit on this. Carlisle didn't throw a double team, an obvious double team at him until the last minute of the game. He saved that for when he absolutely had to have it. You brought up the different defenses. That was one difference that goes directly to coaching. But Shea's got to rise above this. I expected this to be the problem. We knew they were going to do things to you. We knew this is not. They're not surprising you as a Thunder player or coach by what they're doing. And because we're now headed toward Game 4. This is repeatable. I'm starting to think that Indiana has found something that's unnerving, something about the way Oklahoma City plays in their offense to where they feel like the last 5 minutes of the game is theirs.
Yeah.
You better have a lead the last 5 minutes. We're going to save that extra part of the playbook, and we're going to take you apart. And 2 out of 3 games they have.
The other thing is, I think there is a bit of, this is a young team, first time in the finals. Go look at Kobe Bryant's first finals appearance. Look how he played. Go look at
Excuses,
LeBron.
Man.
No, I mean these are young. This is a young team.
Kobe wasn't the MVP.
Okay.
Kobe wasn't a 6-year vet.
No.
Kobe didn't have the defense playing around him. He had Shaq beside him, but he didn't have what this is. He didn't have the. There's a lot of those are excuses. Are these reasons now? Because I was thinking they were excuses, and now we might be coming up as they just weren't ready. I just don't believe that.
Most guys, when they get to their first finals, there is a sense of tightness. I mean, look at LeBron's first finals; he stunk.
Well, he was alone, but yeah, he got roped. I don't think those analogies are applicable other than first-time jitters. But now, I mean, by Game 3, those jitters better be gone, brother. And the problem is he had great success, well, at least scoring, stat-wise. So it's hard to vary what you've been doing because what else can you get but 38 and 34? Sounds pretty impressive. But where were the gaps, and how is Carlisle getting to him? And can he figure it out? Because 2 out of 3 games, while the points were there, other stuff wasn't, including the W's. You expect neither one of these teams lose 2 in a row. And you brought it up, profit taking. I expect a little bit of profit taking because Indiana now is kind of they got a lead, but really they don't. This is going to go 6-7, and it's going to go back and forth until somebody can prove to me, or somebody in OKC, you assume it'll be Shea, proves to me that no matter what the case is, they can overcome.
Well, it's going to go at least 6. We know that now. Game.
Well, no.
That's true. It's going to. You're right. Yeah. If the Thunder have a chance in hell, it goes at least 6. The Thunder 6-point favorites in Indiana for Game 4.
That'll grow.
Not much of an adjustment, but yeah, I'm with you. I do think that grows. And it ended up closing at 5.5 yesterday. It did kind of hover where it went up and down, but it ended up staying basically where it was. And I would imagine this one probably goes to 6.5, something like that. But the Thunder have to prove it to me. I'm certainly not as confident in the Thunder in their ability to run away from these teams as I was. And if you had told me, we talked about, let's take a break. Let's stay on clock. But I want to discuss the start to the game because we talked about how important that was yesterday for the Pacers. It ended up not being the case. It's the Morning Huddle 94.1.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning, friends. It's going to be a tricky commute this morning. It's just best to wait it out if you can. Flooding all over the city. Perrin Vital, both directions, northbound, southbound. Austin Highway to 410, that is now flooded. We're also getting reports of some high water rescues in the area. 35 northbound, the off-ramp to 410, that exit ramp is closed. We've also got 2 lanes closed. 35 northbound, Weidner to O'Connor. So just please be very careful if you must head out this early morning. Just best to wait it out. We've got 2 new accidents. 410 eastbound Fredericksburg Road, a crash. 2 left lanes are blocked. And then 1604 eastbound Stone Oak Parkway to 281. This wreck has only the far right lane open. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA, Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radio.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Business owners can now keep in touch with up to 200 staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
In the 80s, everyone was breaking. Break dancing, that is. Lots of moves, spins, flashy colors, and a whole lot of cardboard. Breaking in the 80s was good, but breaking now, not so good. That's why Dave Ramsey recommends Kinetico water softeners in San Antonio and the Hill Country. Seems like many brands of water softeners these days have flashy lights, sounds, and moving parts. Bad news, all those parts are more likely to break and break and break again. With Kinetico water softeners, there are fewer moving parts, and a Kinetico only runs on kinetic energy and is up to 80% more efficient than other competing models. A Kinetico was built to work, not break. That's why a Kinetico is backed by an outstanding 10-year warranty, and right now receive a free reverse osmosis drinking station at your kitchen sink, $400 off with a trade-in of any water softener, and 0% interest for 12 months with approved credit. With a Kinetico, you'll have water soft as parachute pants on the dance floor.
KineticoSA.com.
License number 38961.
John, what do you think about these tariffs? What do you think is going to happen? Well, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. The prices on used cars have suddenly come up because the cost has gone up. And at GimmeTheVin.com, we're paying more. Go to GimmeTheVin.com, put in your license plate, and see for yourself. We're paying more today than we were yesterday. Remember, the tariffs have raised the car prices, and we are paying extra. GimmeTheVin.com, America's best car buyer. Sell us your car.
Sell us your car. GimmeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
George gets justice.
You've just been in an accident, and now you're asking yourself, what do I do now? You're dealing with pain, medical bills, and missing work. Dealing with the insurance company feels overwhelming. George Salinas Injury Lawyers, we're here for you. We'll listen and explain your options and fight to get you the justice you deserve. No upfront fees, no stress, just real help when you need it most. Call George Salinas Injury Lawyers today or visit us at getgeorge.com.
George gets justice. GetGeorge.com.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text Kettle to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text KETTLE to 321-321. That's Kettle to 321-321.
This Father's Day, visit Boot Barn for top quality gifts that pay tribute to the lasting heritage of the West. From handcrafted cowboy boots and American-made felt hats to durable jeans and outdoor gear, our in-store experts can guide you as you shop, assisting with boot sizing and helping you navigate the store so you can find the perfect gift. Share a piece of the American spirit with him this Father's Day. Boot Barn, unwrap the West.
Introducing the new Dell AI PC powered by the Intel Core Ultra processor. It helps do your busy work for you, so you can fast forward through editing images, designing presentations, generating code, debugging code, summarizing meeting notes, finding files, managing your schedule, and responding to Jim's long emails. Leaving all the time in the world for the things you actually want to do. No offense, Jim. Get a new Dell AI PC at dell.com/AI-PC. How those ahead stay ahead.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
You ready, Rob? Don't mind them brake lights. We'll get you where you're going. And by the way, did you
made to wave the
I was
flag.
hoping we get past this.
Ooh, the red, white, and blue. Oh, yeah.
You see any blinker drivers?
Hail to the chief. Oh, they point the cannon at you.
I blame you, Vic.
It ain't me.
No, it's you.
It ain't me. I ain't no senator, son, no.
Do you have any blinker drivers this morning?
I ain't no fortunate one, no.
Turn off your blinkers if you're driving, please.
Yeah, get your flashers off.
Did you drive with them on this morning, Vic?
What?
Your flashers, your hazards.
I didn't have to because the rain wasn't that hard.
I had a few. I had a few hazard drivers.
I didn't see any of those.
Had a few.
Yeah.
The only time I saw him was over here. What's the we turn off Harry Wurzbach
onto Eisenhower, but
Yeah.
there's that bridge in
If
it.
you go straight on Harry Wurzbach, there's that bridge with like the rainbow lights.
It's Austin Highway Bridge over Harry Wurzbach.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
went into construction.
Somebody tried, or there was a convoy of cars trying to go underneath it, and then a convoy of backup lights with flashers on coming out because they turned around, don't drown. Turn around, don't
seriously,
drown. That's
for
my
those of us-
PSA.
Well, that's a good one.
Thank you.
Turn around, don't drown.
That's right.
We should.
I just came up with that.
Let's raise that up the flagpole. Let's send that up to the suits. Maybe they can use that. If you are just waking up, dude, the weather's awful. The streets are terrible.
Yeah.
It's just terrible.
It's funny because like
ease into it.
In my house, it was raining a little, but it was mostly lightning and thunder.
Well, I was behind the storm because I'm up on the northwest side. So the storm passed over me, and as I left, it had already headed this way. So I actually drove in. I didn't have any rain coming down. I was dealing with flooded streets until I hit Harry Wurzbach.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to use my windshield wipers unless I was near another car.
So my wife and my cat are both particularly sensitive to. They're not great sleepers, first of all. And when the storm happened, right now we're sleeping in the upstairs guest room because our bed is still on a truck that's
that's right.
apparently going to get here sometime this afternoon. But we don't have any drapery up there, so it's just, there's blinds,
a light show.
But yeah, so my wife I get a text in the morning. I wake up by myself, and she's like, "Me and the cat are in the media room." Which is like there's a room that's got no windows.
Cave,
yeah, and she's like, "Yeah, I couldn't sleep with the lightning going on." So, horror movie. Yeah, it was wild, man. It was.
The thing about an empty house is it's loud because there's nothing to buffer the sound.
Right.
Yeah.
So
no
everything is magnified. Then you got a nervous cat and lightning going on. It was a light show this morning for sure.
It was, man.
I get it.
And dude, speaking of that theater room. It's such a great setup. I finally got internet yesterday.
Nice.
Vic, it's going to be a good place for us to watch some games and stuff. I know you don't care about sports, but maybe you'll come over and watch a football game or something, watch your Cowboys win. But it's a good setup, man. I'm pretty pleased with that. Get to sit up there and kick back.
A place to hide.
Yeah, shut the door to the outside world. Oh, it's almost like last night was like I didn't have kids. There was just me and my dog in there watching the basketball game. Oh, it was lovely.
Well, your boys didn't want to watch the game?
Jake watched for a little while, and then he was like, I'm going to go run. He's trying to stay in game shape for Puerto Rico.
Mandatory. You're not leaving till the game's over. I got to have somebody to talk to. My wife's terrible at watching games.
I don't need anyone to talk to. I really don't.
Oh, I do.
You're a talker in general. I'm fine with just silence. That's why I don't have friends, really, because I'll be like, hey, man, you want to come over and watch the game? And then I'll just sit there silently.
Yeah.
And,
I'm trying to point out
drink a beer.
I'm trying to point out stuff to my wife. She's, oh, yeah.
I see that. Yeah.
Wow.
Blue team.
You know, honey, why do you think they're doing that? I don't understand. Oh, yeah, I see that, too.
Does she appease you? Like, explain to me why this would. Does she ask you to? Now she doesn't even.
My wife has seen more basketball than most women.
Yeah.
So she knows the game, and every now and then she'll notice and talk about it. But for the most part, she just kind of listens and agrees.
Yeah, my wife hates basketball, so when she does watch, all she does is go, "When does football start? When does football start?" Because she at least doesn't hate watching football with me as much, but she's not a fan of watching basketball. But I told her you don't got many left. You're gonna be all right.
Well, every now and then, Kel will say something that's actually kind of intelligent about a game. She goes, his shot's flat. I don't think he's gonna do much tonight. I'm like, wow, you know what? I think you're right. All right.
Yeah.
So every now and then every now and then she'll throw something out there where I think, you know what? Now I'm gonna really talk to you about it, and that goes the wrong way.
We talked yesterday, Rob, about the importance of a fast start for the Pacers, and they did not get it.
Well, they kind of did. They pushed the pace. They just didn't. It was a mistake-filled, foul-filled start. But no, that's not a good way to put it. They controlled the pace. It wasn't a fast pace, but at least it was their pace.
I thought in the first quarter this thing was going to get out of hand.
Well, when
because
Chet 4 minutes in, and then Chet.
They had no answer for
went
Chet.
Bananas, but they weathered the storm.
They did. But it felt like if you had told me that the Thunder were going to be up 8 at the end of the first quarter, I would have said, oh, this is going to be one of those. The second quarter was the best quarter of Indiana basketball I've seen all playoffs. And that, I mean, obviously they've had, I mean, the fourth quarter in game 1, you could put it up there. The second quarter last night, on both ends of the floor, was pretty brilliant. Like, they flustered Oklahoma City with their defense, and it felt like the basket was the size of a hula hoop. I mean, they were, for Benedict Mathurin, my goodness. They kept saying bench points, and it was really Mathurin and McConnell points. They were the only ones who were really, it felt like doing, I mean, I guess at the end of the day, they had more than that, but because.
I'm glad you brought up McConnell, because he adds a little bit of spice to that offense that I didn't think he was going to be able to do.
Yeah.
I mean, the quickness that he offers to the rim really provides enough gravity to get some dudes open, and he can get the ball up for a layup as well as Brunson can for a little dude. Well, he can get it through the branches of a tree.
It felt like it was a disastrous game for turnovers for the Thunder. It felt like he caused all of them.
His quickness, he's
brings
like
that
a
little
element.
Mini Caruso.
He does. He brings an element of quickness and lane jumping, and with some offense that he truly changes the pace when he's on. He's not always there, but last night, my gosh, he made a huge difference. And it's no surprise that a lot of that difference making was with him and Mathurin on the court together. Those two played electrically last night.
And if I am going to dump on Halliburton, as I have, for not taking care of the basketball, and he had 4 turnovers again last night, he's still dealing with that and like doing the.
Well, there's sins of commission. Some of the two of those were forgivable sins. I mean, I have no problem with you trying to make those passes. I really don't, because he's such a safe passer that I want him to take a few chances. I'll live with those kind of turnovers.
But if I'm going to give him the grief, I have to give some to Shea. And, some of it's offensive fouls, like the very first play of the game, that's a turnover. But
which, by the way, should have been a double foul.
But probably. But they let the Thunder know early on, hey, we're not having any nonsense.
Keep your hands to yourself.
2 fouls in the first 10 seconds of the game. They were like, play accordingly.
But it evened up. They let it go a little bit later.
But if I'm going to give Halliburton grief, I have to give some to Shea. And Shea, you cannot have 6 turnovers in a game, in a finals game. And you can't.
And 2 or 3 of them were just dumb. Just dribble, dumb into double teams, not paying attention to who's coming from behind, not knowing there's a wolf lurking. I mean, just little things that – this is game 3.
Yeah.
You're playing great. What happened?
Yeah, I do think there is a sense of fatigue setting in, and they are not running the same rotation that they've been running. We talked about Chet. Chet owned the first quarter. Chet looked like it was like Wilt Chamberlain playing against plumbers in the first quarter.
He was downhill.
And then as the game went on, you could tell Chet was tired, and he was chucking up threes. He did not have a good shooting night from 3. He got what he wanted at the basket, but then he stopped trying to do it because I think he was just worn out.
I think being tired of players played a role, but guys of that size don't have a lot of wind. You rest them and get them back in. He was flat-footed by the end of the game, beaten up. I think that there's some wear and tear body shots that he's going through whenever he's in the paint. I still think Oklahoma City's better. I keep thinking, the next possession's going to turn the tide. I kept thinking all night long. You're within 5, you're within 4, you're within 2, then you're back down by 7. There's going to be a possession, a momentum play. I kept waiting for it. It just wasn't going to arrive last night. And the way that the Indiana played feels very repeatable. I'm not all in. I still think that this is an OKC series, but I can certainly see the other side of the coin now. I can see why the Pacers have a little bit of confidence, because there's something about this OKC team that looks a little wobbly, that you feel like, you know what, I can kick one of the legs out of this chair. I think I could. I think I could topple this team.
Yeah. Well, they're certainly their backs are up against it right now. Claymore says AJ and Rob were wrong yesterday. Just here to remind them.
Thanks, Claymore.
Yeah. AJ
I'll tell
lost
you when you're
money
wrong.
again. Cry, laughing face. Claymore, that's the biggest hating thing I've ever seen. That's you should be ashamed of yourself, Claymore. That's hater ass.
Yeah, don't take pleasure in monetary loss.
Yeah, man.
Take pleasure in things that really matter. The embarrassing things we said.
Yeah, you hating on my money. That's just
don't
you
look
should
at
be
my
ashamed
pocket.
of that. Dude.
Don't look there.
That's not how a man acts, Claymore. You know better than that.
Man, I was wrong, and I question my eyes. I really do. I just can't figure out how we got here, and I hope that this OKC team has a little bit more fortitude than I'm giving them credit for, because right now I'm starting to question their manhood. I'm starting. You got something in there? What's going on with you guys?
I will say this though. This is the Thunder. They are going to look back at that Nugget series and be glad that they went through this once before already. Because remember, they were down 2-1 in that series too.
I talked about the series about Denver yesterday, hoping the lessons learned wouldn't allow what happened last night to happen. And nope, no lesson learned there.
Well, remember, they got down 2-1. They lost game 1 and game 3, just like they did here. And then they won 3 of the last 4, which is what they're going to have to do. Listen, we'll see if they can bounce back. They have not been very good on the road. That's a little concerning. That a team that was very good on the road all season long has not been very good on the road in these playoffs. Something's got to change, and you can only I get it. I'm one of the people who are saying, "Oh, they're a young team. They should be going through these things." But I am also not the kind of guy who's going to give you a pass because you are the much more talented team. This should not you should, even when you struggle, you should be beating this team.
And they're struggling.
Yeah.
I mean, they're struggling right now. And I hope the self-confidence stays at least moderately available, because they're going to need it right now. You're going to have to rely on some things that aren't working now that you're going to have to fix. I mean, there's nothing to alter. Everybody knows you now. There's no secret weapon coming. There's no secret defense you're about to throw at them. They know exactly who you are now. You're going to have to prove something. This is not where I thought we'd be today.
When they were down 2-1 against Denver, that was the game where they took the air out of the ball, and they made it a grimy, ugly defensive game. They ended up winning that game. I forget what the final score was. I think it was like 90-87 or something like that. It was a super low-scoring, ugly, gritty game, and that's what I think they do in Game 4 here. I don't know that. I think they'll win. I don't feel as confident as I did a week ago. I think they'll win, but I do think that they are going to do everything they can to limit possessions and kind of shorten the game and let their defense really do the work here.
If the Pacers continue to control the pace, whether it's slow or fast, whether it's their way of doing things, OKC is going to be in trouble. They're going to have to find some way to control the game and in between the free throw lines. How quickly are you getting across? Is your defense back in time? Those little things that they got beat at late. They got beat easy layups. There were some follow-up layups where there was no trail defense. Those little things that you're 9 deep. You should have the bodies to do these little things, and they didn't.
And it's so funny, too, because like one of the guys Miles Turner could not suck more on one end of the floor on the offense. Miles Turner stinks on offense. He sucks. And then on the defensive end, he is just dominating. And it's kind of – it almost feels like opposite day. Like if I was going to say he was going to have success on one end, I would have thought it would have been the offensive end. He's having none. And on the defensive end, he's just feasting. The Thunder need to find a way to – I don't know if they got to stop going at him. I really think they got to get more of the two big lineup out there again. I don't know why they're scared of that now. The game that they ran the most of it, Game 2, is the game they had the most success. And then last night, it's like they refused to have those dudes on the floor at the same time.
Well, because it slows them down. And when you get those two bigs, getting one or both back in time with Indiana ripping the ball out of the net and going, they have to stay small. And it was obvious last night that they couldn't control the pace. They were getting beaten down court. Now, that doesn't mean layups. That means Indiana's getting down there with 3 guys or 4 guys, and you got 3 holding on. doesn't mean that the possession won't go 20 seconds. But at this point, Indiana has the man advantage. You're playing reaction that entire possession. So it's those little things that don't really look like fast breaks, but it's fast play that they're getting behind in. They can't let this happen anymore. And I'm starting to wonder, while they bring out these 4 defensive studs, you got to have somebody control the ball more than Shea.
Yeah.
You have to have somebody that has a mindset of controlling the game, and they don't really have
They
that.
don't have a real, like on offense, a real true point guard.
And I think that the way that the Pacers are playing, it's kind of engineered that way because they don't have a captain of the ship, that they're losing their pace. And I don't know where that fix is, because once you get Shea in that mindset, then you lose offense. You lose his mentality of, I got to go do some stuff. So
Topich kid available yet?
Well, they're going to have to answer some questions seriously. And I think the answer, and there's going to be, the most experienced possible guy is Caruso. He's going to have to do a little bit more inside of the offense without having to be to the layup or jump the 3-point shot with a desperate kicked out to him.
You also hate to take away what's been working for him.
All of that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of questions that they've got to deal with. Now, fortunately, they still, they finally got some offense out of J-Will last night, so we might get a little bit more of that, which might help. But then that offered its own problems. I thought he kind of made the offense a little bit sideways heavy. It kind of affected other dudes.
All right, let's hit a break. We'll continue discussing this game, so much more. Morning Huddle 94.1.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning, friends. It's going to be a tricky commute this morning. It's just best to wait it out if you can. Flooding all over the city. Perrin Vital, both directions, northbound, southbound, Austin Highway to 410. That is now flooded. We're also getting reports of some high water rescues in the area. 35 northbound, the off-ramp to 410. That exit ramp is closed. We've also got 2 lanes closed. 35 northbound, Weidner to O'Connor. So just please be very careful if you must head out this early morning. Just best to wait it out. We've got 2 new accidents. 410 eastbound Fredericksburg Road, a crash. 2 left lanes are blocked. And then 1604 eastbound Stone Oak Parkway to 281. This wreck has only the far right lane open. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA, Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radio.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Perfect for instant contact with an aging parent. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get an extra 60% off, free UPS shipping, and add code RADIO for an extra 5% off.
Don't let pain hold you back from living your best life. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett with Arasti. At Arasti, we're dedicated to providing fast, effective relief from pain. Whether you've been dealing with a chronic discomfort for years or have recently suffered an injury, our goal is to help you recover quickly. Our treatment is all natural, non-invasive, and covered by most insurance plans. With convenient locations nearby, relief is just a call away. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
The Gomez Law Firm has been San Antonio's trusted law firm for 50 years. We have Jose with the Gomez Law Firm here with us today. Jose, tell us about the cases you all specialize in.
We do ride-sharing cases, we do 18-wheeler cases, work injuries. We will be happy to take a look at and see if we can help.
If you or your family have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, you need to visit joegomezlaw.com. Call the Gomez Law Firm at 736-4040.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
Whether you're shaping up a small yard or tackling serious acreage, Steel walk-behind zero-turn and stand-on mowers are built to get the job done. Shop online or at your local Steel dealer. Steel, let's go mow. Available at participating dealers.
When it comes to vaccines, it's important to get the facts. The City of San Antonio Metropolitan Health District knows that life moves fast and the last thing you want is to miss out due to an illness. Vaccines are safe and help your immune system fight off serious disease that can stop or change your plans. They protect you, the people you love, and can prevent you from getting sick. Let's get vaccinated, because when it comes to your health, it's time to get real about vaccines and get the facts. For more information, visit sa.gov/health.
Let's go! Hi, it's Jason Minix. You're listening to the home of the Cowboys, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Riding high. Oh, whoa, whoa. This seems like some Slick Vic stuff right here, baby.
Yeah.
I got 5 on it. Oh, oh. Yes. Morning Huddle 94.1. The question will be, are the Thunder now questioning themselves? And I think that's it. It would be reasonable if they are. Mark Daigneault, I think, is almost certainly questioning himself because the behavior says he's doing things differently than he'd been doing leading up to this series. Why are – I mean, you mentioned, the pace. They can't put the two bigs out there because – why are now suddenly you, the better team, the more talented team, letting them dictate the pace?
Because they're faster.
Okay.
They're faster. I mean, if
you mentioned this yesterday, and the Thunder still did a good job of this. The Thunder don't get many fast breaks. Like they were still in the when they got the ball, even in turnover situations, there were still two guys in front of them.
Yeah, their fast breaks, even on a good day, are poke away layups. They're not a get out and run, pull the ball out of the net, get it out as fast as you can kind of team. No.
So why I just don't understand why they're letting Indiana dictate the way this game is played.
Well, I mean, they're dictating to some extent, but the fact is,
almost everybody
can roll out 4 on-ball defenders. I should be able to do this. I should be able to go small and be okay. I don't know that, and that's the real crux to the problem. Is this should be working?
Yeah.
How on earth does a small lineup have all these turnovers? I don't have a bunch of big goofy hands in the paint dropping passes. I got 4 guards running around, and I'm turning the ball over right and left. I mean, it's those little things you go, well, if you're going to go small, you think ball handling would be at a premium. Suddenly turnovers would go down. I got a bunch of guards dribbling around, but you guys can't find each other. So it goes into the internal part of how do we play this game, because the outcome of going small should be fewer turnovers and faster pace. Well,
yeah.
it ain't. And so how did this happen is those kind of fundamental questions that they're going to have to answer. I don't have a problem with the lineup. I just have a problem with the way this team is executing.
The Thunder, who lost 8 games on the road all season, have now lost 4 games on the road in the postseason. Maybe they're tightening up, nutting up. I don't know.
I go back to an interview with Williams right before the playoffs began. And he talked about how he couldn't even look at a basketball to go onto a basketball court for a month after their second-round loss last year.
Yeah.
That it just was one of those, we had no idea that we were going to lose. And, the carpet was ripped out from underneath us. And I wonder if any of that is lingering, where they're starting to think, oh, no, this feels like Minnesota. Oh, no, we're better. We were better than Minnesota last year. We knew we were, and look what happened to us. We got embarrassed. Oh, no. It's same crew, same guys. But this ain't working.
Well, last night after the game, they had the Arena Sabalenka defense. Remember when they asked her about Coco Gauff, and she was like,
"Well, it wasn't her.
She didn't do anything right. We did it wrong."
Which is the right answer.
Jalen Williams said, "We just had a lot of unforced errors. They capitalized on them because they're a good team, but we made the mistakes." In the fourth quarter, Daigneault said in the fourth quarter, I just thought they really outplayed us on both ends. I thought they were in character in terms of their physicality, their pressure on defense. Then they were in character in terms of their pace on offense. Again, the second quarter was the best quarter of basketball I've seen the Pacers play all postseason. The fourth quarter might have been the second best. And again, that includes these crazy comebacks that they've had, just because those comebacks felt like the comeback against the Knicks and the comeback in game 1, it felt like fluky. The second and fourth quarters of last night did not feel fluky. It felt like the Pacers, for those 12-minute spans, just completely and thoroughly outplayed the Thunder.
The best we've seen them look are when the small forward, big guard is at their best. Halliburton is going to hit his shots, but, he's a he's a vanilla kind of offensive threat until it matters. He's not going to turn the ball over. He's going to take 2 dribbles, find the open guy. He's going to take the appropriate shot. You know what to expect. But when Naismith went and hit, he had 25, hit 5 threes. He went bananas earlier in the playoffs, and that's the best that offense has looked. And then last night, Mathurin at the same position went off for 27.
Yeah.
That third dude, that big flowing wing forward guard guy that's big and strong like Naismith and Mathurin are, Oklahoma City can't guard him. When those guys are hitting their shots, for whatever reason, as good as they are on-ball defenders, they can't guard those guys.
No.
And they're going to have to seriously look at their wing defense and how they're protecting that edge with the 3 coming at you, because to this point, 2 dudes have ripped them up.
Well, and a lot of it is they're doing everything they can to take away Halliburton. And, I
don't think they're working that hard to take Halliburton
You think
out.
he's taking himself out?
Well, no, I just don't think it's part of his game. I think he was aggressive to the extent he took a couple shots and made them, but he's not turning the corner and getting in the paint. I mean, he's going to take what's available to him and nothing more. And if you give him stuff, he'll take it, but he's not splitting double teams. He's not getting past dudes on just sheer effort into the paint. That's just not his game.
What did they do defensively last night that was so effective? First of all, this is the first time in the postseason that Shea had a negative assist-to-turnover ratio, 4 assists, 6 turnovers. What did the Pacers do defensively on him in particular that was so different from the first couple games?
I'd have to go back and look at it, but I have to go, when you're in a boxing match, sometimes you react to something that might not be real. And I think when Chet went bananas early, suddenly the focus in the paint kind of shifted and the defense kind of changed. And I don't think they ever came back from focusing in the paint. And Chet kind of changed the game too. I don't know, man. That's why I'm telling you, I look at this game and what I believe is happening ain't. I thought that they were doing okay, but the sum total of turnovers and offense not in formation, I'm trying to find, they're out of sync. And some of it's Shea, some of it is an unexpected kind of Jay will play better, and I think that kind of took away from other guys. There's a lot of little kind of things that if you're diagonal, go, we got to fix this little thing, that little thing, and this little thing, and everything comes into focus. Well, you start running. There's a lot of things you got to fix. They're not huge, but those little things added up to 2 losses now. When you clearly, everybody on this OKC team is looking in the mirror going, we're better than these guys. How is this happening?
What do you think the Vegas odds say is the most likely outcome for the series now?
I think they're still looking at 6.
That is second at 2-1.
So
Oklahoma City wins 4-2 is 2-1. Oklahoma City in 7 is now plus 170.
Well, I get the gut reaction. I mean, yes.
Pacers in 6 is 5-1. Pacers in 7 is 7-1. Pacers in 5 is 11-1.
That's not a lot of split.
No,
it really isn't.
But yeah, the Vegas odds now say that Oklahoma, like a Game 7, is the most likely scenario here.
And that would be, I guess, the NBA's dream. I don't know.
I mean,
everybody loves a Game 7, but I feel like if you get to a Game 7, it'll be a bit of a letdown because we were hoping to crown this juggernaut champion, and we're not going to do that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. If they win the last 3 in dominant fashion, do we?
Right now, that's becoming a bigger and bigger if.
Of course.
So I think the NBA, if they had their druthers, if they said what would be ideal, 6 games, hard fought, but we want everybody to know that Shea is truly an MVP and Oklahoma City is truly a team to be reckoned with for the next couple of years. And with every passing kind of slow-paced, poorly executed close to a game, that's looking further away.
Thunder minus 220 to win the series right now. The Pacers plus 185. That is the tightest it has been, obviously. Even after Game 1, it was Thunder minus 260 or 280. So now there is there's doubt creeping in. There's a little doubt creeping in, and I can't deny that it's creeped in a little with me. I know it's creeped in with you.
It has.
I still believe. I mean, I still can't let a short-term result cover up everything else that's happened over the last 100 games. You know what I mean?
I'm with you, but my most recent sample size does not point to what I believe to be the case.
Yeah.
You know, things are just not what I expected.
Right now, this does feel a lot like, the fact that the Thunder lost game one, won game two in dominant fashion, and then lost game three. It feels very much like that Denver series. And now they've got to do the same thing, win game four on the road, and try and wrest it back. But it is the Thunder, they're going to be feeling some pressure now. We'll see how they perform under this pressure.
You know, the difference is with Denver, you knew the dude you had to take out. With Indiana, I don't know who to take out. I mean, I can take Halliburton out of the game, still lose.
Yeah. Well, I that's what it seems like. They've done a good job. I don't think Halliburton's been anything special in this series.
No.
I think Halliburton's been a good player.
I think we're putting too much attention on him and not enough on those other dudes, and both for positive and negative reasons.
And as good as guys like Jalen and Chet can be, this is still a team that is dominated by the play of one man. It's almost like even when the Bulls had Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman, two other Hall of Famers on the team with Jordan, it was still Michael Jordan that decided how good the Bulls were. So there is something to, like, if Shea is not better than he was last night, they're in trouble.
All of this. Are you not what we thought you were? And is OKC looking in the mirror going, are we not what we thought we were?
I thought they got over that last year.
So did I.
I thought they spent an offseason looking at themselves in the mirror and wondering that.
And then they beat Denver, and I thought they had put the crown on at that moment. Ain't nobody beating us. And here we sit.
Yep. By the way, this is the least shocking thing. Finally, I've been talking about this for a little while. It's finally caught up now that the odds for Finals MVP are the exact same now for Shea as it is for the Thunder. It's minus 220 for both.
I wonder, as far as Indiana, I wonder who's leading the MVP if it's a Pacer.
It's, this second.
It should be Siakam, but because he's the most consistent. Man, he is just a heartbeat. He's just consistently there, but he's probably not in the lead.
Halliburton plus 270.
Too much.
Siakam 11-1. So
Pascal in that first quarter, but for him, they might not have won. I mean, he carried them in that first half.
Nimhard 200-1.
Yeah.
Miles Turner 200-1, and Neesmith 300-1.
Neesmith, where were you last night, Cat? And I know, granted, you're watching Mathurin.
Yeah,
go
he was
off,
sitting for a lot of it. Yeah,
but if he'd have been in, Mathurin might not have given what they could have. But Naismith was a bit of a letdown too.
Yep. Claymore says Halliburton damn near triple double, and these dudes talking about he wasn't special. Claymore, you're like, it's such a everything's the basic stats to you. Like if that's all it's about, go get a triple double. Then cool, great game. If that's what it was, but he turned the ball over. He wasn't the best player on the team for them.
No, Benny was.
But
Benny
yeah,
and the Jets, baby. Benny carried them. And if you want to just break it down to the most basic, if I'm Oklahoma City and I want to put a Band-Aid over what might be a problem or not, I go, it's that position. What would we lose by?
Yeah.
What's he averaging? Stop him. We win.
What they're doing is they if you don't, I don't know if you agree, they're limiting Halliburton. Halliburton wasn't doing like, if Halliburton played like this against the Knicks, the Pacers wouldn't be here. Halliburton was able to take over games. Halliburton isn't taking over these games.
In fact, to prove a point, last night, go back and look at the tape. 4 minutes and 10 seconds into the game, Halliburton catches the ball at the top of the key. There is a switch. He has Isaiah Hartenstein. It's him, Isaiah at the three-point line. There ain't no double coming. This is what the defense ended up. Halliburton looked at Hartenstein, which most guards see big dude, one dribble, I'm gone. If I'm even, I'm leaving, I'm going to the rim. He took one dribble, looked at Hartenstein, pulled the ball up, and passed it off. Timeout. Carlisle ripped him up, brought in Mathurin. It changed the game.
Yeah.
And it was because of the lack of aggression from Halliburton. It wasn't about anything else, and then the aggression showed up. Halliburton is a great recipient, and he He's not going to make a cent of commission. He's not going to make those kind of mistakes, but sometimes that slows you down. Sometimes you'll do a Manu thing. I'll take the turnover for the 4 great plays that will follow that.
All right. We'll come back to the game itself, and we'll take a look at game 4 as well. But we'll talk about the latest on the KD situation coming up next. San Antonio on the list. Morning Huddle 94.1, San Antonio Sports Star.
KTFM Floresville, your home for the Super Bowl. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radio.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Perfect for instant contact with an aging parent. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get an extra 60% off, free UPS shipping, and add code RADIO for an extra 5% off.
Hunger striking, snack time calling, it's crunch time. Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds brings you the boldest protein-packed crunch you can't resist with mouth-watering flavors like hot honey, sweet barbecue, and sea salt and cracked black pepper. Why settle for chips when you can level up your snacking game? Plus, they're low-carb, high-protein, and made for adventurous appetites. Score big flavor today. Grab Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds at H-E-B.
As a fan, you know all the important sports cliches. And when you save money by bundling your home and auto with Progressive, you can get out there and give it 110%, even though that's mathematically impossible. And remember, failure is not an option. Well, it's always an option, just not a good one. But you're not worried because you've got ice in your veins. You're on fire. How can both of those things be true at the same time? Well, that's between you and your doctor. So get out there and leave it all on the field. Leave what? Who cares? Just leave it and save with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Mellow Mushroom has the best pizza in San Antonio. Mellow delivers the best pizza experience with their delicious dough, premium ingredients, and unique flavors. Delivering a higher order of pizza is the standard. If Mellow can make a pizza this delicious, imagine what they can do with munchies, greens, calzones, and burgers. Mellow Mushroom has San Antonio's best happy hour with food specials and half off adult beverages. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-777-1225. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-777-1225. That's 800-777-1225 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-777-1225. 800-777-1225.
In the 80s, everyone was breaking. Break dancing, that is. Lots of moves, spins, flashy colors, and a whole lot of cardboard. Breaking in the 80s was good. But breaking now, not so good. That's why Dave Ramsey recommends Kinetico water softeners in San Antonio and the Hill Country. Seems like many brands of water softeners these days have flashy lights, sounds, and moving parts. Bad news, all those parts are more likely to break and break and break again. With Kinetico water softeners, there are fewer moving parts, and a Kinetico only runs on kinetic energy and is up to 80% more efficient than other competing models. A Kinetico was built to work, not break. That's why a Kinetico is backed by an outstanding 10-year warranty, and right now receive a free reverse osmosis drinking station at your kitchen sink, $400 off with a trade-in of any water softener, and 0% interest for 12 months with approved credit. With a Kinetico, you'll have water soft as parachute pants on the dance floor.
KineticoSA.com.
License number 38961. Teams are battling for the championship, and there's no better place to get in on the intensity than ESPN Bet. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
If you are 50 or older, it is recommended that you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia, a potentially serious bacterial lung disease that can disrupt your life for weeks. If you're an adult 19 to 49 with certain underlying medical conditions like asthma, diabetes, chronic heart disease, or COPD, vaccination is also recommended. Talk to your doctor about vaccination today and learn more at lung.org/protectyourself. Furnished by the American Lung Association in collaboration with Pfizer.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. We've got major flooding in areas. Please be very careful if you need to head out and about. And if you do see some flooding on your commute, don't try and get through it. Turn around. Don't drown. Accidents 35 southbound just past O'Connor in the left lane. On 410 eastbound Fredericksburg Road, this wreck is 2 left lanes blocked. 1604 eastbound, Stone Oak Parkway to 281. Only the far right lane is open. Got a major accident working there. And on 1604 westbound Boulevardy Road, accident left lane. Again, major flooding all over the city. If you don't need to be out and about, best to just wait it out. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA. Time Saver Traffic.
San Antonio Sports Center.
The NBA Finals continued last night as the Indiana Pacers took a 2-1 lead with a 116-107 win behind Benedict Matherin's 27 points off the bench. Game 4 tomorrow right here. In the NFL, we have a release date for the Netflix Dallas Cowboys docuseries, America's Team, The Gambler and His Cowboys. It's going to drop August the 19th on Netflix. I'm Rob Thompson for 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Oh, yeah! Small Friday. Who doesn't love it? You know? Tomorrow's the big day. And we got a basketball game tomorrow, so we don't have to wait a month.
We were kind of misled. They listened to us. They said every other night, that's what players need, that's what fans desire,
yeah, but then
we shall get it. Then we'll wait another 3 days.
Yeah, then we won't play a game over the weekend. But, you know, we won't play a game on Father's Day where, you know, Dad could say, hey, honey, you get the kids out of my hair. I'm going to sit around and watch the basketball
Lay
game.
on the couch and watch the game and bring me snacks of savory and sweet nature.
They don't
all
want to
day.
do that.
No, don't get any of that.
Make me a steak dinner.
Don't get me a Sammy at a basketball game. No.
No.
We'll watch the U.S. Open.
None of that.
Take a good nap.
Yeah.
Wake up with Scheffler's a 9-stroke win.
Probably so. Claymore says, AJ, I get it. He wasn't spectacular. 22, 9 assists, 11 boards, enough to be impactful.
Great game.
No one's
Great
saying
game,
he wasn't
man.
impactful.
Great game, dude.
All I'm saying is, if you had asked the Thunder, if they were going to hold Halliburton to what they have so far in this series, if his impact was what it's been in this series, the Thunder take that every damn time. They're just not taking advantage of it. You know, Halliburton was +1 in the plus-minus last night. +1. Like, if that's the best they're getting at him, the Thunder probably feel like they're doing a good job with him. But it was Obi in game 1. It was Matherin in game 2. There's almost being so much attention paid to Halliburton that the outsiders are coming in and beating him up.
You know, the thing about guys like Halliburton, when you're playing defense against a guy that you know isn't going to make a mistake, you can use that to your advantage. When you know when the double team comes, the right move is to find where the guy came from and throw it to that guy. That's in the most basic parlance of how you'd beat a double team. We know that when I charge him with a double, he's going to give it up. That's kind of, that's how he's been coached. Well, you can use that to your advantage. If you can make that, I'll make him give it up. So he's a willing dude. He's not the kind of guy to make a mistake. Well, I can't reinforce the fact that sometimes I want him to make a mistake, and because he plays within himself so much, he limits himself. He allows other guys to be great. Now, I'd like to see him turn the corner and take some more shots and maybe make a few more mistakes, but dominate the game, and it's just not in him. So when you go, Claymore shows, hey, 3 stat stuffed. Yes, pretty damn impressive. But that how much of that did it change the game? Or how much was it exactly what we gave you? You got exactly what we gave you, and yes, you took advantage of it, but you didn't get anything we didn't want you to.
I think the Thunder were betting that if they limit Halliburton and Siakam, that the rest weren't good enough to beat them. And so far, 2 out of 3 times, they've been wrong.
Well, Benny and the Jets, baby. Benny was such a difference maker last night. And on both sides of the ball, played strong defense. He was good on the help. He's quick. He can react and get back to his guy.
I know he's their 6th man. He's their 3rd best player.
Shoot, yeah. Last night, he's. I was talking with Edwin about him beforehand. He's an all or nothing dude. There's a lot of nights where it's bad, Benny.
He's elite defensively
when he wants to be. Yeah.
I mean, when Nesmith was out for a good chunk of the season, he was like he was their secondary scorer.
Well, I'm looking at that as that position, whether it's Mathurin or Nesmith, is the key to this series. We know what we're going to get from Halliburton. Nothing exceptional, but exactly what we give him, and he'll take every bit of it. We know that they're going to try to hit the threes as much as they can, but it looks like that third dude, whether it's Mathy or Naismith, those are the difference makers. That's the position to me that's going to change this game.
All right. Switch gears for a little bit. The Phoenix Suns and KD's, I don't know if they don't call him KD's agent. They call him his business partner now.
Which I appreciate. Which means I'm investing your money, but I'm a partner. I'm in it for all the decisions. Give me a check.
KD's business partner, Rich Kleiman, have met over the last couple weeks and are trying to figure out the right place for KD. Seems like they are working together to find a trade. The teams that are listed as the likely landing spots for KD, at least right now, are Miami, Minnesota, New York, Houston, and San Antonio. And first of all, the fact that San Antonio is on that list it's
a testament. Yeah.
Yeah. And once he's traded, Durant will likely sign a 2-year deal, probably worth
$100 million plus.
Probably $120 million. Yeah. But either way, it's not dissimilar to when last year at the deadline, remember KD almost got traded to Golden State. He understands the deal here. He knows. Yeah, he gets what's going on.
And each one of these teams offers an interesting scenario. So, and every one of them has a little bit and a reason to be there. And I get the list. The only one that I don't get, other than who doesn't want to be a billionaire or nearly that in Miami. I mean, I get that.
Well, Miami's looking for a star.
I know, but you're not any closer to a title in Miami than you are in Phoenix. So that's the one I go, okay, if you look, let's start with New York. New York would probably have to give up Karl Anthony and would happily do so, even though we know how much he's been there. But you get to New York, your team is in a softer East. You're the king of the mountain in the biggest media market in the world. I get it. It would be a pretty cool way to finish out your career. Minnesota is so intriguing to me because I think if Minnesota can do this right, they can put themselves right back in this title thing. A combination of Anthony Edwards and Durant, that'd be kind of a crazy thing to watch. I like this thing, but I'm just not sure they've got enough pieces to give Phoenix back and enough money to deal with all this, unless Phoenix is ready to take on some Gobert cash. Then it's Houston and San Antonio. Houston probably has the most to offer.
Yeah.
From ready talent, they can make Phoenix better faster than anybody else. And then San Antonio, who can do a little bit of everything. We'll get you closer to a title. No guarantees in the near future, but dang it, we're going to be fighting for it. And you get to play with the future. But there is the question about, got a new coach here in Mitch. We got a lot of other questions. I don't think you're as near a title as you would be with Minnesota and Houston, but you'd give it a fighting chance.
Well, the ESPN asked their insiders. They looked at the potential, the hypothetical trades from all 5 of those teams. In the Rockets' case, it would be Dylan Brooks, Reed Shepherd, Cam Whitmore, Jock Landale, the 10th pick, and a first-rounder in 2027.
I think Jalen Green had to be part of this deal. If I'm Phoenix,
I'm kind of with. There's not a play. I mean,
like
there's a
Reed
lot
Shepherd.
of players.
I like Reed Shepherd. I like Cam Thomas, and I like that number 1. But I'm going to need somebody ready to play.
Now, the one thing that is valuable is that 2027 pick is Phoenix's pick.
It's going to be a high pick, and they need it back.
Because when you own Phoenix's pick, like you basically own their ability to tank or not tank.
Yeah, their lottery is you don't have a lot of control over that, as we learned from Atlanta. But yeah,
right.
I get wanting it back. I think that there's probably more to ask for if I'm Phoenix.
Okay, Miami. This ends up being a 3-way trade. Heat get KD. Suns get Nikola Jovic, Andrew Wiggins, a 2025 first, a 2030 first, a 2026 second, and the Nets would get Duncan Robinson, Kashad Johnson, and some pick swaps.
That is, if you're looking for the long term, if I'm that new young coach, that's the deal I like. I can build this in my image.
Jovic, Wiggins, and 2 firsts.
Mm-hmm.
But one of them in 2030.
That's a long way, but
that is a long way. Minnesota's. This is interesting. All right, Wolves get Kevin Durant. Suns get Dante DiVincenzo, Rob Dillingham, Rudy Gobert.
Gobert has to be a part of this deal for the money to work.
Right.
But that's a contract that'll run out here, 2 more years? It's not. You got a few more years there. That's a doable deal. And that's it
also gives you something that the whole reason why this thing hasn't worked in Phoenix is because nobody can play defense.
Yeah. So if I'm Devin Booker, I like the deal. I like to have that guy behind me. If I'm Durant, do I like going to Minnesota for a year? I'm pretty close to a title run. I get to run with a dude. There's some things there.
All right. Knicks send OG Anunoby, Mitchell Robinson.
I need more, but maybe.
Okay.
I need more. OG is a great get. And Mitchell, I mean, he fills the role just like Gobert does. He'll allow Booker a backstop.
Well,
I need more.
I think of all the players we're talking about, the guy that I would most like, the guy that we've mentioned that I would most want as part of my long term is OG.
Yeah, I like him. Yeah,
he's a guy who you can he could be the 3rd best player on a title team.
It's certainly one to play defense on all these great small forwards that are around the West. So yeah, it would be a good guy to have.
And then the Spurs trade offer is Devin, Harrison Barnes, and the 14th pick.
Which, if we can manage that, pull the trigger tomorrow, man. If that is indeed the only cost to go get Durant, dude.
I just don't. I mean, when I look at these other offers, I don't know if that's the best.
I don't think it's enough if I'm Phoenix either. But I think what they know and we're not taking into account is Kevin Durant will not play for Phoenix next year. They know it. He knows it.
I think that decision got made as soon as they started shopping him for trades.
Right.
Without him knowing or asking for it. He's like, wait a minute, I'm being shopped for trades? When did that happen?
So I don't think any of the teams that we mentioned are going to go above and beyond something like this. I'm not going to offer you more. Now, come back to me and maybe we'll talk. But my initial offer, I'm going to be really firm with. If I feel like nobody else is moving, I ain't either.
Yeah, I think that I mean, you mentioned yesterday, it feels like the Rockets have the most to offer. And especially in terms of like young, controllable assets, picks,
and they're in a good spot. 2nd team in the West. It's a fun city to be in. He would be adored. He's the kind of guy that Houston would like.
Minnesota's deal makes sense if Minnesota thinks they're going to compete for the next couple years.
Well, they told him something by their activity. They told the Knicks, you ain't touching Finch. So I think that told Durant,
maybe
look,
so.
Man, this is something in place.
But no, I mean, if Phoenix thinks they're going to win, for the next few years, because if you're bringing it, if your haul for KD is Rudy Gobert and Dante DiVincenzo, you're saying, like, listen, we're trying to win games right now. If you're not getting any first-round picks out of it,
you're right.
Like, you're trying to win.
Well,
and I don't know if Phoenix is there. Like, the picks make sense, and that's why Houston offering the 10th pick is, if I'm the Suns, that's the one I'm most interested in, because that gets me a top 10 pick and plus a couple young players like Reed Shepherd and Cam Whitmore
who look like could play for you for a minute. So
Yeah.
that's the best deal out there. It's just where does he feel like he can play the best, and not have to do the most.
Yeah, I think getting that back would be the ideal scenario. So
I would be willing as a Spur, if that's the deal, if that's the opening, I'd be willing to give more. I'd do more than that. Honestly.
Like, would you throw in another first-round pick?
A distant one, the 30, that one that's 5 years away, one that I don't expect to be worth much. That'll be like a 28th pick, 29th, or maybe the last pick. So I would be willing to kind of up my offer there. And maybe if you're looking for somebody off my bench that's currently there to match some salary, I think there's some dudes that I could kind of swing the deal with too. That seems awfully cheap to me.
Yeah. I would be willing to offer more than that too. I've said before, I don't love the idea of giving up Harrison Barnes. I'd much rather give up a Keldon or someone
Absolutely.
like that.
But I get it. I get why you want him.
Yeah, if that's what it takes, then that's what it takes. He's certainly not untouchable. But and what KD at least brings is someone who's been there and done it.
Mm-hmm. Which will help, which is what Harrison is here for.
That's what I said. Yeah, all along. I
Yeah.
said, you look at this Spurs roster as it's built right now, there's one dude who knows what it's like to win.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with Popovich not on the sidelines. There's literally one guy out there who knows what it takes to win. I value that. Even if he's not, the player that some of these other guys are.
That make the most difference because they affect the bench and the team and
Sure.
the players. So, yes, it matters.
So, again, there's options for a lot of teams. And there who knows, maybe some wild card team pops out.
I think this is one of those that, a lot of times last year, I think at this very moment, the Trey conversation was in full force. We were talking about the Atlanta deal, let's get Trey and all the things he could do with the pick and roll and Wemby and all that. And it never felt real. I know that we had a relationship with the guys in Atlanta and we'd made some other deals, but that didn't feel real. This feels like there's some momentum behind the scenes too, because it makes some sense.
Chris says the Spurs, out of all these teams, his best shot at getting back to the finals, I believe. Remember, the Rockets were the 2 seed in the West this year.
And Minnesota.
And the Knicks were in the Eastern Conference Finals.
These are all winning teams. These are all definitely in the mix to get back to a title.
You can make the idea that long term the Spurs have the best chance of being. I think them and the Rockets have the best long term success potential. But you can make an argument that the Spurs are currently the furthest away from being impact.
But let me tell you line up a starting 5 that includes De'Aaron Fox, Kevin Durant, Victor Wembanyama, Stephen Castle, and name your other vet, and you're bringing off the bench at some point.
Well, it's probably Sohan, and then you're bringing in Dylan Harper.
And bringing off the bench at some point, Dylan.
Keldon and Dylan.
There is a great argument to say you better be playing in at least the semifinals.
I agree.
The door is open for you to get that far. So,
especially if Wemby takes the step that I expect him to take this year.
Oh, man. So all that with the backdrop of the Spurs and Project Marvel adds one more bit of reasoning as to why the Spurs might be more willing to give up something right now for immediate gain, considering the chase to get people to really literally spend their own money to get the new building built with the taxes.
But I also think a lot of this decision for KD and KD's business partner will boil down to where can he go chase a ring, because a third ring would look really good for his long-term resume. It would look, and this is his last chance. Like wherever he go, if he goes somewhere after this, it's not going to be.
He'll become Chris Paul.
Yeah. But this is his last chance to be an impactful part of a championship team if he goes to the right place. And I assume that's why I don't think the Heat will be in consideration for him. I think he wants to go someplace where he's got a chance to win and he believes can win. So if he picks the Spurs, that's him saying, I believe the Spurs can win a title in the next 3 years, because I don't think he picks a team that he doesn't believe can.
Well, I'll tell you, if Pop was the head coach, I'd think it would be nearly done. I wonder what the Mitch Johnson effect is.
Yep. All right, let's hit a break. We'll be right back. Morning Huddle 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, it is almost Father's Day, and if you're considering the little getaway that Daddy desires and you don't know what to do with your babies, with your pets, I got your answer. It's a Blue Bonnet Bunkin' Biscuit right there on 35 up in Selma. Hey, let your MVP go away for the weekend and with no worries at all, leaving your pets, your babies, at a safe, responsible, fun place. And that's what Blue Bonnet Bunkin' Biscuit is. Hey, I've been by there a couple times. Every time I go, everybody's happy, the dogs are bouncing, and everything is exactly what you want for your dogs. They've got everything you're chasing for a little pet resort action. They got the day-to-day daycare. They got the vacation take care ofs. They got the personal stalls with the cameras. They got the play areas. They got the training. I don't know what you're waiting for. If there's a new place for your home or a new home for your pets, Blue Bonnet Bunkin' Biscuit is there. If you're a first responder, a teacher, a member of the military, there's great specials. Look, one of the biggest decisions you can possibly make is who's going to take care of your babies when you can't. And I cannot recommend higher Blue Bonnet Bunkin' Biscuit. You need to go there and see for yourself. Go let your babies stay and play, and I know you're going to come by and thank me later.
If there's one thing we know about dads, it's that they're not easy to shop for. Enter Kohl's. They've got everything from Nike golf gear to his favorite Levi's jeans. And you can save 20% on other finds like Flex Athleisure and Izod workwear. So if you're not sure what to get Dad for Father's Day, you know where to go. Shop Kohl's now. Select styles. Offer ends June 15th. Some exclusions apply. Coupons do not apply to Nike and Levi's. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
If you need to hire, you know it takes time. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. You simply pick a time and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day.
Try Zip Intro for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today. Talk to qualified candidates tomorrow.
Gomez Law Firm has been fighting for the rights of San Antonians for 50 years. We have Jose with the Gomez Law Firm here. What is something you see often as a personal injury attorney and protecting your clients?
The one thing we always see without fault in a case is that the insurance company will always reach out to them soon after the collision and they try to get them to agree to a low settlement. They try to get them to agree to signing a piece of paper. They want them essentially to sign their rights away without ever even consulting with an attorney, right? In the grand scheme of things, if you sign a piece of paper, you're signing your future interest away. So that's why it's so important to call the Gomez Law Firm, because we make sure we protect your rights and you're not signing your life away, you're not signing your rights away.
If you or your family have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, then call the Gomez Law Firm first. 210-736-4040 or visit joegomezlaw.com. Protect your family and protect your rights.
And remember, Gomez Law fights.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare, and I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call. I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-483-3030. 800-483-3030. 800-483-3030.
There's a reason Intuitive Services Group handles our janitorial needs here at 94.1. They're local and serious about cleanliness. From nightly cleaning to detailed floor care, they deliver. We trust them, and you can too. Call Mo at 830-470-3007. That's 830-470-3007.
If you missed the Blitz with Jason and Joe, then you missed this.
You're at the stadium. Right below us over yonder, there's a sign where you can buy mystery bowls.
I want to see what the hell they are.
are, though.
You know, we're not talking about some morning show cat, I can tell you that. But those were a mystery to Mr. Hoffman.
The cat's balls?
I don't know if that was a mystery or an infatuation.
Yeah, I think it was an infatuation.
Right home with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6 on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. You're listening to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Hey, it's the Morning Huddle. AJ and Rob. Well, Rob. I don't know where.
Right?
I don't know. I'm going to blame it on the flood. High water crossing. Right at the bathroom. You have to turn around. There's sign up.
Yeah.
We actually had water in the building. Our engineer came to work today in his river rafting shoes.
Yeah.
That's never a good sign.
No.
Anybody shows up to your house wearing that or rubber boots.
He's actually in better spirits than I expected, though.
Yeah.
He came by and, yeah, he was actually.
Yeah, he thanked me for calling him.
Man.
Telling you.
Nobody should be thanked for a 4 a.m. Hey, the building's flooding.
Well, if I didn't call him, it would have been worse.
I know, it would have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
Frank says, R.I.P. to Kitty Big Balls. We miss you, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, the legend that is. And, you know, his brethren don't show up as often.
No.
They've scattered to the winds.
Yeah, I knew they weren't going to be there.
But Vic continues to care. There's food and water.
Yeah,
always out there for
I
him.
bring food every week.
I don't care for them as much. I had one friend.
You've been hurt.
I had one dude. That was my dude. The rest of them, whatever.
You get burned in love. It's hard to come back.
I'm very particular. I'm very particular about who I'll let in.
Yeah.
You know, I let him in. I let him into my life, and
once burned.
And I got hurt. I got hurt bad.
I warned you. Told you. Never. Once you let him in.
Yeah. I mean, listen. I was his adoptive father for about 3 hours before they sent me the email to tell me that he died.
That's still bad, man.
Still crazy. Still crazy. They called me nonstop when it was like, oh, we got to do this medical procedure. We got to do this, and for you to adopt him, I need you to do this.
No email.
Everything's a phone call, and then as soon as I send them the paperwork that I'll actually adopt him, they send an email telling me he died. Well, it took a turn for the worse.
I wonder if he was already
Your
long
new cat
gone.
died.
Oh, wait, he's not here? Oh, no. Who's going to tell him?
Yeah, well, let's. Frank says he ended as a Hoffman. That's true. That's true. It's what it says on it. That's what it says on his tombstone.
His death certificate.
That's right. Uncle Baby Billy Big Balls Hoffman. All right. We've been kicking around trade ideas and things like that. I guess the question is really going to boil down to because it seems like, as always with superstars, it's where does he want to be? And there are people who think that Kevin Durant wants to be in San Antonio or wants to be in Texas in general.
I get it.
People talk about his UT ties.
Yeah.
He was in Austin for less than a year.
Yeah,
I mean, he's not married to this state.
Well, I will say he has stayed connected with the program. He really has.
He has.
So he has played a role in this program. So I do get wanting to be close.
But I also will say I don't think that it's a coincidence that 3 of the 5 teams on his list don't have state taxes.
He's no fool. That's why he's talking to his business partner.
His business partner notices the tax rates. New York,
little state.
Nope.
That's a high rate, isn't it? I don't know what taxes are like in Minnesota.
Probably the highest.
But it's cold there.
I guarantee you they do have a state income tax.
Oh yeah. No, I think he ends up in Texas. I think it's going to come down to the Spurs or the Rockets. And I think it's a matter of who wants it more.
Do you think the Mitch Johnson variable is playing any role at all? It should.
I mean, yeah, in that I think most people, I would guess if you took a poll of NBA players, who's the best coach in the league, my guess is the Rockets head coach would show up on a lot of top 5 lists.
Yeah.
And the Spurs coach would show up on a lot of bottom 5 lists.
And it's not because of...
It's just because people don't know.
Yeah, exactly. And I wonder if that is
and also,
a sticking point.
What have you done in the league what has Udoka done in the league? I mean, it's
Yeah, I mean, there are certainly places that you would feel much more comfortable with who's at the helm. And I don't have any reason to think that Mitch would be bad, but I just think that there's enough question when we're talking about the end of careers and what will essentially be a $200 million at the end of the day kind of action. I do think that it is worthy of discussion.
Frank says, if I'm the Spurs, I call Denver about the Joker and see what the price is.
Nah, man.
There is
I
no
call
price.
him, but yeah, dude, there's some dudes that
Don't waste your time.
Why?
You don't want people to waste your time calling about Wemby.
Well, if somebody actually called me and I was the GM about trading for Joker, I lose all respect for you. Like,
I would too.
seriously, you
we're
think
not-
I'm really going to listen to you? So, no.
I don't want to talk to you anymore. You have to give me like a 40% share of your franchise. How about that? You want to trade that?
Well, you apply that to fantasy football. Your best guy, somebody calls and offers like 3 average dudes. And you're like, seriously? You're going to demean yourself and me by making this offer? You think I would ever say yes to this?
We did find yesterday, right after the show, the very first sports student that played after the show told me that the Mavs joined the crew of teams that said thanks but no thanks to the New York Knicks.
And when I heard that, what do you think Jason Kidd's reaction was? Do you think he was happy to hear that the Mavericks are so happy with him that you have to stay?
Well, I mean, I think it's leverage for Jason Kidd to get an extension.
You better give me a raise. No kidding.
Although it's also hard to extend a guy who the Mavericks are such a weird spot right now because Kidd probably should get an extension. They also are a team that just didn't make the playoffs. And it's who knows what they look like next year. Could be really a disastrous year for Dallas.
It feels like it. But all I can get back at was Kidd told us that he didn't know that this was an imminent trade. So from that moment on, first of all, if I was Jason Kidd and you had traded Luka without me knowing, I'd have quit the next day. I would have not come back to work. You obviously do not have plans for me in the future, or at least you to let me know. So if that was true, that would have been a reason for me to quit. And if it's not true and you had told me, but I find out that you have now, you could have traded me. I could have gone someplace. And if I'm Nico, I could have traded Jason Kidd for another player and maybe at the end of all this look like, you know what, maybe he did have a plan.
Yeah.
It's a very strange scenario.
I don't know. I mean, what do you think of Jason Kidd as a coach?
You know what? I don't like either him or Finch, to be quite honest. So it would be New York, and you question everything about that program. They also wanted Quinn Snyder. So I don't know what they're looking for. I don't know about the future being good, but at least if I'm Jason Kidd, at least I'm going someplace where I'm wanted.
Yeah.
Here, at least, you don't even tell me you're trading the best player, the second best player in the franchise's history. You're telling me that you don't want to get out of there?
My guess is this at least gets Jason Kidd some more security and some more money, which if I'm him, I would want, given that I think next year is probably going to be a disaster and it's no fault of Kidd's.
Well, AJ, I would have already extracted as much as I could have. If you're wanting me to stay around after you traded Luka back and what is being termed as the worst trade in history, I would have been asking for money weeks ago.
But also, if I were Nico Harrison and I was willing to trade away Luka and basically hit reset on my franchise, I don't know why you wouldn't trade away Jason Kidd for some assets.
Saying. Why, if you could get you could probably leverage if OG Anunoby is available in a Durant trade. Maybe you get somebody like that. I find it very odd that they just shut that down. If Jason Kidd hadn't already gotten a raise, they're going to have to pay him immediately.
But it's also really embarrassing for the Knicks, who, again, I mean, when you go through now 3 teams have told you no, you can't talk to our coach. You've got no plan.
How'd you like to be Jalen Brunson right
It's so obvious that they have no plan. And Jalen Brunson, who was like, yeah, he's obviously the guy I want. And then they take him away. And
well, there's only one answer now. There's only one thing that can even
Jalen Brunson's dad.
Well, it looks like that, that might be the only one thing that keeps him happy. It's going to have to be Mark Jackson, right? Doesn't it have to be? Now you've exercised every other.
Can it not be Mike Malone?
If you fired Tibbs, I don't know why you hire Malone. If you fired one guy and hire another guy to act just like him, I don't get that. Now, he would probably be the most obvious, but I think that they have painted themselves in a corner. They got to go hire Mark Jackson.
I don't really know who's left because now with they've said no on Kidd, no on Snyder, no on Udoka, no on Finch.
Which Snyder and Finch? I don't know. Anyway,
I mean, who do you call now?
Mark Jackson. A Van Gundy. Pick one. I mean, you're down to that.
Budenholzer.
Wow, 3-time loser. That's getting a little. You know what I mean? At some point, that the smell is off the rose.
It's you can say 3-time loser, but 1-time winner, right?
Yeah.
And how many of those guys are out there?
Yeah, Dick Motto won a title too. So I mean, I don't know.
But I mean, we're not. I mean, we're talking about he won 3 years ago. We're acting like that's ancient history. Like I think we all thought when he got fired, it was like, oh, maybe he got a raw deal.
Well, we've got Atlanta, Milwaukee, and Phoenix, all of which got really tired of him really fast.
Yeah.
I mean, it just whatever the case is, it appears he arrived in Milwaukee at the perfect time. But when it involves development or maintenance, he ain't the dude for whatever reason.
Well, I think Phoenix just did a bad job of roster building, and someone had to take the fall for it.
Yeah, there's probably a little bit of that.
But,
and, Milwaukee was never probably going to be able to sustain, and they overpaid. But they fired him pretty quick.
They did.
Right after they signed everybody, they let him go. So
and how's it gone for Milwaukee since?
Well, I mean, you can argue that. I just don't think that in an age of retreads, he's been retread a couple of times really fast. I'm not sure that you can rectify this terrible situation by hiring a guy who was most recently fired. I just don't think that's the fix.
Well, I mean, everybody's going to hire someone who was most recently fired.
No, you don't have to. I mean, that's just
Mike
it.
Malone was most recently fired.
And that's why I don't think I'm going to hire him either.
Mark Jackson was most recently fired.
Well, from his TV gig.
Well, from the last coaching job he got fired from.
Yeah.
Which was, by the way, 10 years ago, 12 years ago?
But he is the lone surviving because of the distance. I don't think there's a lot of stink on him, and he is coming home. And he did leave and has operated under the last 10 years as a guy that, if it wasn't Steve Kerr, it would have been a terrible decision to fire Mark Jackson. They happened to hire the one dude in the world that could elevate that team more than Mark had. Because Mark, I think, was in a position to take this team some places. And he got fired for a dude that was perfect.
What about Luke Walton?
Now he's another dude. Keep in mind the stinks off him. He's been fired, but it's been a couple years, and everybody looked at him kind of like Tommy Atkinson when he got fired from the Nets. It wasn't his fault. You look at why are you firing a coach? It's everything around him. And Sacramento felt like, why are you firing him? It wasn't him. It's everything around him.
What about 2-time Coach of the Year Mike Brown?
Mike interviews well, evidently.
Yeah.
He must do it. And, we love him here at San Antonio. I mean, he's part of our fam. He's part of the tree. But he's another one of those 3-time losers who looks like he's just there to,
I think 4 times now.
Yeah, just one of those guys.
Cleveland twice.
You're kind of, and some of those Sacramento left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth, I think. I think everybody thought it was going to go better there. I don't know. I don't think that's a fix either.
What about Taylor Jenkins?
Now we're starting to talk about dudes that, still have some upside. And I think Taylor was in a tough place there in Memphis.
Here's another guy who kind of got what some people would say is a raw deal. What about Darvin Ham?
I agree. And I think he should be under consideration because he does match that modern idea of what a coach should be. He's been there, done that, been in the league.
So there's still some options.
And there are, but this is the Knicks.
Yeah, it's a big job.
It's kind of like you better have been there, at least have some kind of idea what you're getting into.
Well, that's why I think when you say, you can't take one of these guys who's like a multiple-time loser, well, it's that, or you take a guy who's never been there.
And if you're Bud, and you never say no to a job, but if you take the Knicks job, you already are planning your exit strategy.
Probably.
I mean, you're building that into your contract because it ain't going to end.
But I think guys like Tibbs and Malone and Budenholzer, these guys all understand I'm not a 20-year in one-spot coach. I'm never going to be Eric Spoelstra.
Truth.
I am going to go here. I'm going to try and change the culture until it rubs people the wrong way, and hopefully I accomplish something in that time that, the next job wants me.
Mm-hmm. And I think all 3 of those guys are winners. I think all of them can fit. But to me, it looks like the new coaches that are being hired, apart from those that have the obvious success, are the guys like Taylor Jenkins and who kind of came up through the ranks. He wasn't a player, but he came up. He's a young dude that thinks young. And Darvin Ham, guys that have played.
All right, we'll wrap up hour number 2 on the other side. It's the Morning Huddle 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Dr. Jacob Torres is my general practitioner doctor. That's not how I met him. I met him as he was opening the Institute for Functional Health. And man, what a name, because it fits exactly what Dr. Torres believes. Doesn't matter what your health is. How do you feel? If you don't feel good and you're not actively part of life, what's the point of stuff? And the easiest way to feel good about how you're doing is to lose weight. You start dropping weight, and a lot of things take care of themselves, and I am living proof. 8 years ago, pushing 300 pounds, right on the verge of diabetes and hypertension and all the things that go along with being just morbidly obese, man, it did not look good for me. It looked like I was going to be tied to pill bottles for the rest of my life. He told me that was the case unless I started to lose weight, and before you know it, I lost weight because he put together a program that fit my lifestyle. There are basic premises to losing weight. Take in fewer calories than you burn, you'll lose weight. But how can you do that on a regular basis? And that's why the Institute has been so successful. They balance the mental with the physical. They make things work if you can't, and that's why people lose weight. So if it's time, if you've decided, I want you to call him today. The number's 210-468-1891. His website, iffhealth.com. A valuable resource. Go there first. But call Dr. Torres and find out what I know. There is no better way to take control of your life and your weight than dealing and working with Dr. Jacob Torres and the IFF. Call him today and thank me later.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning as you head into your early morning commute. As you've heard on our reports this morning, 5 cars washed away on a 410 Perrin Vital Austin Highway. 3 fatalities. If you see flooding, please turn around. Do not try to drive through it. There's been a lot of water rescues going on this morning, so just please be very careful. Just please wait out this storm. 35 southbound just past O'Connor, that wreck still is taking up a left lane. 410 eastbound Fredericksburg Road, 2 left lanes blocked with a crash. On 1604 eastbound Stone Oak Parkway to 281, only the far right lane open. A lot of flooding all over the city. Please do not drive into flooded areas. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by H-E-B. H-E-B's here to help you celebrate Dad the Texas way. Stop in for gifts, cards, grilling must-haves, and more for a special Father's Day he won't forget. All at H-E-B's everyday low prices. H-E-B. Here, everything's better.
Hi, everybody. Joe Reinagle here for the Golf Club of Texas. I absolutely love the Golf Club of Texas. They've made so many improvements to the golf course, from brand new cart paths to resodding the greens and fairways. You might think it's a private club, but it's not. It's open to the public 7 days a week. Best rates are always online at golfclubtexas.com. That's golfclubtexas.com. The Golf Club of Texas, you know where it is, right there off Briggs Ranch Road off Highway 90. The Golf Club of Texas is the friendliest golf course in Texas.
Don't let pain hold you back from living your best life. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett with Arasti. At Arasti, we're dedicated to providing fast, effective relief from pain. Whether you've been dealing with a chronic discomfort for years or have recently suffered an injury, our goal is to help you recover quickly. Our treatment is all natural, non-invasive, and covered by most insurance plans. With convenient locations nearby, relief is just a call away. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
Huge news. Right now at Wendy's, you can get a Son of Baconator for just $3. I don't think you understand this situation. The Son of Baconator is only $3 for a limited time. You know, smoked bacon, rich melted cheese. That Son of Baconator is only $3. Thank you to whoever wished upon that star. For bacon that just won't quit, gotta be Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii, not valid on a combo or in third-party delivery platforms.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, the Cowboys wrap up their mandatory minicamp. We'll hear from Coach Schottenheimer on how it went.
All the reaction from Game 3 of the NBA Finals between the Thunder and Pacers.
And the latest on the UTSA drama with their baseball coach, Pat Hallmark.
The Blitz starts at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. The NFL lives right here. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Guys, hope you're being careful out there. Turn around, don't drown. A term that I came up with this morning.
Brilliant. It is. It's brilliant. Kind of like Hump Day.
Yeah.
Came up with it right here in the studio.
It's like that. It's like that ESPN bet commercial where the guy's like,
brilliant.
It's the best idea I've ever had. Yeah, turn around, don't drown. Something I'm going to tell everybody going forward.
I think it should be a bumper sticker.
But apparently multiple people dying out there. Like,
yeah, real close to the Perrin Vital Austin Highway area, which is our area.
Great.
Well, we had water rising in the building.
I'm going to have to take the helicopter home.
Yeah, the swag copter.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I hate that because it's so hard
Did
to.
your wife get a license yet? Or
No,
she's
it's
gonna
when
wing
we
it?
do it, it's illegal. When she picks me up, she's like, "Oh, great."
I'm gonna wait on the Cajun Navy.
Yeah.
Let them Thibodeaux come pick me up.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Boudreaux and Thibodeaux.
I can make sure the helipad's clear on the top if you want.
When Harvey happened, me and my one of my training partners from my MMA gym took kayaks. Like, it was the day after Harvey happened, like before the Cajun Navy could get to Houston. We were going in kayaks and going up to apartments because like the bottom floors of apartments were flooded out. So like people on the second floor couldn't get down, or in the third floor.
Right.
So we were like taking kayaks and taking people out, taking their pets out,
I can't
taking little
imagine.
kids out. And then the Cajun Navy showed up with like real boats.
Yeah, airboats and all
It's
those.
like, man, yeah, this is how it's done. This is how we're like. I was all bloody because like some cat scratched the hell out of me. Like, I mean, I'm like trying to save this thing's stupid life. Him and his mom is like, I'm so sorry. He's usually not like this. I'm like trying to paddle, and the cat's behind me just. But yeah, the Cajun Navy, they know they know what they're doing. Hopefully we don't need them here. Hopefully we don't need them. I think the rain's done, by the way.
It looks like it's south of town, but the residual.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Did it flood at your house, Vic?
Not in the house, but outside, yeah.
Okay.
I had one road shut down, and this was see, I started at the northwest, so I didn't have to drive in the rain. It had already passed over by the time I got here, before 5.
Yeah, it was raining.
But it looks
real
like
heavy when I
as
got
it hit on this side of town at 5, it might have been worse than it was where I was. It appears that the rain was much more significant on this side of town.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was real heavy.
Yeah, man, this is rough. Be careful.
Stay safe.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they say. Stay safe out there, everybody. We are through 3 games of the finals. Like I said, the odds have shifted. The Pacers are still underdogs to get this thing done, but I think you certainly are starting to maybe believe this is real. I'm still not quite as there as you are. I still feel pretty safe that
Well, I came to it with a little bit more belief in Indiana than you did.
I think so,
you
too.
know, and some of that is I thought was misplaced after Game 1. Even though the shot happened, I felt like domination occurred. Game 2, absolute domination arrived. But what I've seen in those 2 instances where Indiana has had some success, and that's 2 out of 3 games, last night was repeatable. Last night, you can do that again if you can just, and it doesn't have to be Matherin. It can be somebody else, but it feels like they have a formula for whatever that third dude is. Defense first, don't make mistakes, let Oklahoma City get into their own mind, keep the pace pressed, keep on them, and we've got kind of a formula that we can go at them again, and a couple of 3 dudes that can actually fill the bill.
Well, also, let me bring up the box score, because the reason why it is repeatable is I don't remember much of what Matherin did being from 3. Like, with 3-point variance is a hell of a thing.
Yes.
Like, a guy can get hot from 3, and you can go, oh wow, like, Obi Toppin did it against the Knicks, and did it. If somebody changes the game because they go out and shoot 7 of 9 from 3, that's awesome, but typically not repeatable. Let's see. He was 9 of 12 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3.
Enough.
That's repeatable.
Enough. Yes, man. And
that's not like a outlandish. Some days you're just hot and you're feeling it, and like, but to think that someone's going to shoot 7 out of 9 from 3 2 games in a row is it's an absurd thought.
to think that someone could score 20-something points in the paint, which is what Ben Mathurin was doing, or in the mid-range, that's absolutely repeatable.
I do think. Now, what will it tell you if you do see Daigneault change his starting lineup, that he pulls Wallace out and goes, I'm tired of matching, we're going to do our thing? Will that tell you that they are bending to their will, or Daigneault is finally addressing the obvious problem?
Well, the 2 times that he's started Kaysen are the 2 times that they've been beat.
And the shot
it's
that
not
was made.
bending to will, it's just common sense. Like, the time that you were playing the 2 bigs together is the game you had the most success.
I tend to agree. I thought there were some defensive problems that they were trying to overcome, but now I think you're going to have to change your starting lineup. And what does that tell your team? I mean, you stuck with something that didn't work. I know Kaysen's a rookie and a young player and all that kind of stuff. It wouldn't, just destroy him. But it does tell your team, our plan doesn't work. We're having to react to them. They're not reacting to us.
But this is also, I mean, Kaysen hasn't been a starter all year long.
No, he hasn't.
These games that he started have been the anomaly. So it's like, okay, we tried it, it didn't work. I don't think that's like saying that we don't believe in you.
That's stupid for me to think that's a problem. These are teammates. But I do think it reflects the fact that when you're balancing what Daigneault's doing versus what Carlisle's doing, Carlisle is winning this thing. I mean, the matchups, the coaching, the timeouts, all those little things that can make a difference that the coach can truly affect, Carlisle's winning it.
He is. And it's a little bit of a surprise to me.
I mean, it's a surprise in that we know how good Daigneault's been.
Yeah.
But we also know Carlisle's got a ring and been here, and that's one of those things we keep talking about, and he's one of those dudes who knows exactly what it takes.
He's got his guys playing defense at a level, like I said, watching them play defense in the second quarter, I didn't believe that the Pacers had that in them. The fourth quarter was basically the same thing, although the fourth quarter felt more like desperation. Oh, you know what? That's not even true, because the Pacers went into the fourth quarter with a lead.
Yeah, the
Thunder did. The Thunder started the fourth quarter with a lead.
Yeah,
I think 4 or 5 points.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so I mean, the last 3 or 4 minutes was desperation, but most of that quarter, the Pacers just shut them down.
I kind of felt they were going to pull away right at the beginning of the fourth. I thought, well, here we go. They're going to stretch it to about 10 or 12, and then Indiana's going to start jacking up some silly threes. Then it's going to get up to 15, and it's going to be over.
Yeah. Because the first quarter and the third quarter felt like this is what the Thunder do all the time.
And I didn't think they could.
And the second and fourth quarter were such outliers for the Pacers but now it's happened more than once.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when they are at their best defensively, they can be a real problem.
I didn't think the Pacers had it in them. I didn't think when it came to closeout, if you could take Halliburton out of the game, can anybody else do it? I didn't think they could, and they can.
I also think it was a disappointing game for Alex Caruso, who it's hard to knock him. He's been so good in these playoffs, and it's almost his own doing of resetting what people's expectations are of him. And sometimes you forget, he's like your 6th or 7th best player. But the game he just didn't have, defensively he wasn't as good as he's been, and offensively he didn't seem like he was in the flow. It was almost like he was chucking and looking for calls, and dude, just play the game.
And some of that at the same time, I thought Lou Dort didn't get enough attention. I thought he had a shot,
agree.
He was playing better, but because the way that this offense is set up, where they don't really have a point guard, no one was there to give him the ball.
Yep.
Law,
don't let the Pacers win Game 4.
Oh, don't let them win Game 4, man.
If they do, I mean,
diamonds.
What's it? One time in history?
Yeah,
a
OKC
3-1
making diamonds right at that point. You want to talk about clenched sphincters?
I think a young team like OKC, if they get down 3-1, it's over. I don't think they're coming back from that.
It would take the kind of valiant comeback that we would be talking about for 20 years.
I don't think it took. Remember when LeBron did it? LeBron and Kyrie. I mean, to a veteran-laden team.
Mm-hmm.
This OKC team has not been there and done that. I think that'd be too much for them.
I completely agree. And Indiana is a really good front runner.
Oklahoma City Game 4 is the most important game that any of these guys have ever played.
From here on out for OKC, you got to look at Game 7s. I mean, that's just kind of what it is.
Yep. I think they need to expect to play 7.
Wow. I love sports. We heard Commissioner Silver last night say, small market fun and all this kind of stuff. But the fact of the matter is viewership's way down.
Yes.
I hope that this today and everybody being confounded by what we saw last night will kind of grow this. I hope they do get a bump from it.
Yeah, I don't.
See, that's exactly what as I'm saying. I'm thinking, no, I think if you're committed, you're already in on this. You're not going to arrive late.
I'm so mad. Remember, I made the bet the other day after game 1, Oklahoma City minus a game and a half, which basically meant Oklahoma City in 5 or 6, which now it can only be 6. And I got it at even money. And I was like, oh, that feels like a good bet. And now it's 2-1. If I made that same bet, I'd get double my output.
Well, my only pre-series bet was Shea to win MVP.
Okay. Yeah, I've got a little of that too.
Hanging on to it.
I mean, that's essentially saying the Pace or the Thunder are going to win the series
one way or another.
Yeah, this is it's been a surprise, man. It's certainly a surprise. Again, I'm not giving up on the Thunder because I believe that's a special team, but I am this is for the first time I'm starting to go, ooh. And what's funny is I didn't do that against Denver.
No, I didn't either.
And Denver's better than Indiana and has a better home court than Indiana. And, I should have been way more nervous for the Thunder during that Denver series. Yet, suddenly I'm like, because there's something about the Pacers feel like they're playing with house money.
Exactly. Do I trust what I see? And right now, I don't.
It feels like they got nothing to lose, and that's sort of a scary thing. All right, we'll be back. Morning Huddle 94.1, San Antonio Sports Star.
You're locked on the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. KTFM Floresville.
This report is sponsored by Staples.
Bobby Bones here with some easy trivia. What does the Staples Easy button say? That was easy. Boom. I mean, that was easy. You knew that, right? And now you know to press it for prints, shipping, and even passport photos. Plus, next day delivery to over 98% of the U.S. I see you, Staples. That was easy.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
There's a reason Intuitive Services Group handles our janitorial needs here at 94.1. They're local and serious about cleanliness. From nightly cleaning to detailed floor care, they deliver. We trust them, and you can too. Call Mo at 830-470-3007. That's 830-470-3007.
Here at Total Wine & More, our amazing selection means you'll always
love what you find.
Dad, what are you doing here?
Just getting a sneak peek at my Father's Day gifts.
Well, I was thinking of getting you this Barrel Select bourbon.
That's a really nice bottle.
And Total Wine has it at the totally lowest price.
Wow. You always were my favorite.
Thanks, Dad.
Talking to the bourbon, sweetie.
Find what you love what you find. Like the perfect gift for Dad at the perfect price. Only at Total Wine & More.
And drink responsibly. B21.
Progressive Home Quote Explorer lets you easily compare rates, so shopping for insurance might be the easiest part of owning a home. Definitely easier than this.
Psst, honey. Honey! What? Shh, there's a salesman walking up the driveway.
Oh no, he's got a clipboard.
What do we do?
Get down.
Down?
On the floor, you...
Shoot, did he see us?
Why are you breathing so loud?
Home ownership isn't easy, but with Progressive's Home Quote Explorer, shopping for home insurance is. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Hi, my name is Jason Thompson. I'm an attorney here in San Antonio where I've practiced for more than 30 years. And San Antonio has really grown since I started practicing law. The risk of injury in a car crash today is greater than it's ever been, because every day we're forced to share our roads with 80,000-pound 18-wheelers and some truly dangerous drivers. If you or a family member is injured in a car crash, know this: the insurance companies are mobilized against you. They have highly trained adjusters and a long roster of attorneys with one job: pay as little as possible. Their techniques are extensive, and I believe you have zero chance of obtaining a fair recovery on your own. If you're involved in a car crash, you need to hire an attorney as soon as possible after the collision and before you speak to the insurance company's adjusters. Now, I do not have a comic book nickname. I do not call myself the Law Eagle, the Tiger Lawyer, the Law Chupacabra. I think the practice of law needs to be taken more seriously. If you've been injured, call me, Jason Thompson, for a free consultation. My number is 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400. Or my website, alawyerforus.com.
Mellow Mushroom has the best pizza in San Antonio. Mellow delivers the best pizza experience with their delicious dough, premium ingredients, and unique flavors. Delivering a higher order of pizza is the standard. If Mellow can make a pizza this delicious, imagine what they can do with munchies, greens, calzones, and burgers. Mellow Mushroom has San Antonio's best happy hour with food specials and half-off adult beverages. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
School's out, summer's in, and that vacation countdown is officially on. But what about your four-legged MVP? Bluebonnet Bunk and Biscuit in Selma has your furry family member covered. Daycare, boarding, grooming, and training, they've got it all. They're built for your pet's health, happiness, and tail-wagging good times. If you're in the military, your teacher, or your first responder, they've got barking good exclusive discounts. So go ahead, book that trip, hit the beach, crush your summer plans. Bluebonnet Bunk and Biscuit has your pet in good hands. Because home away from home isn't just for humans. Bluebonnet Bunk and Biscuits in Selma.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. While rainfall is starting to come to an end in some areas, the flooding has not receded. So Perrin Vital, northbound, southbound, Austin Highway to 410, where we have had 8 high water rescues, still flooded. 35 northbound, the off ramp to 410. That exit ramp is closed with flooding. Northbound 35 Weidner to O'Connor, 2 right lanes remain blocked. Still working that crash at 35 southbound just past O'Connor in the left lane. 410 eastbound Fredericksburg Road, this wreck has 2 left lanes blocked. 1604 eastbound Stone Oak Parkway to 281, only the far right lane is open. If you do not need to be out and about, best to just stay indoors for at least the next couple of hours. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA, Time Saver Traffic.
San Antonio Sports Center.
The NBA Finals continued last night as the Indiana Pacers took a 2-1 lead with a 116-107 win behind Benedict Matherin's 27 points off the bench. Game 4 tomorrow right here. In the NFL, we have a release date for the Netflix Dallas Cowboys docu-series, America's Team, The Gambler and His Cowboys. It's going to drop August the 19th on Netflix. I'm Rob Thompson for 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Good morning, everybody. It's Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Hope you're staying safe out there, San Antonio. Turn around, don't drown. Term I coined earlier in the show today is really taking off.
We're going to make bumper stickers.
Yeah. I think there's going to be billboards. Bumper stickers is small.
And in the last break, I have a new one.
Okay.
Don't mess with Texas.
Ooh.
Just fell right into the brain.
How about this one? Say no to drugs.
Just say no? No, that'll never work.
No, you're probably right. Yeah. People love drugs. Yeah. Look, I mean, historically, that's one thing I know about people is they love drugs.
They lost that war.
Yeah. Chris says you got to ride with him, AJ. You've been talking about OKC all year long. Yeah, I'm not jumping ship.
They're still the better team. That's why we're so confounded. There's no question that talent for talent, there's more sitting on the OKC bench. I mean, you can argue that better teams and all that, but talent for talent, there's more sitting on the OKC bench. We know they were the best team during the regular season. There's a lot of reasons why OKC should and probably will go on to win this thing. But with every passing play, passing minute, when they don't separate themselves, they know it and we know it. And there's the reason to question why, because we know they're more talented. So where is the disconnect, and can they figure out what that disconnect is in time?
I still expect that the answer is yes, but I can't blame anyone for letting doubt set in. Because it's certainly warranted at this point.
When you think the fatal flaw of this team could be not their guard play because they have the defensive guard play is more than enough. But the fatal flaw might end up being they do not have a point guard. They do not have a guy like Halliburton who will drive, draw, and deliver, will, handle the pace, handle those little things that the coach doesn't need to worry about or tell the players to pick up or slow down, something that's innately taken care of. Who'd have thought that could be the fatal flaw with a team that is chock full of guards?
And again, this would be the most unlikely champion in the history of the NBA.
I would agree.
The preseason odds for the Pacers to win the title were 66-1.
Which was probably a little high. I mean, this was a team that fought to the end last year, that kept the same dudes, that didn't do anything crazy. So we probably should have expected a little bit more, but, they also had the most overrated player in the league, according to.
The longest shot before them was the 2014-15 Warriors at 28-1. So think about that. More than double the odds on the Pacers. And even to start the postseason, they were 80-1.
It's so I'm glad to hear these numbers because it kind of fits where I feel. This doesn't feel. There's something that I can't quite quantify that's going on right now, and I don't know where to place it.
It's called being able to play with house money.
I guess.
They're playing loose. You're playing free. Rob, I think you and I mean, about a month into the season, I think we both said I would be shocked if the NBA Finals was not Thunder versus winner of Cleveland-Boston. Like, it felt like those three teams were so far and away separated from everyone else.
Yeah.
And once Cleveland got knocked out, once the Pacers knocked Cleveland out and Boston got knocked out, the Pacers are like, look at us.
But the thing is, I didn't think they were better than Boston. I just thought they beat them. And there's a big difference. You can lose in those kind of.
Than Cleveland, you mean?
I mean, Cleveland or whoever. I didn't think that they were better. They just beat a team that was dumb. Like they weren't built to play them in Cleveland. That this just didn't. Whatever the case was, the matchups didn't favor them. And, styles make fights. I never thought of them as a better team. They just happened to win 4 games over a team that stumbled. But given the grand totality, they're not as good, but they are. I'm not ready to give them all of that yet. But at some point, you got to call a duck a duck. It walks and quacks like one. It is one.
How about this? In the 4 major sports, the Pacers would be the fourth longest shot in history to win. Who do you think? Can you name any of the teams that were longer shots to win?
Like in any
pre-season?
Of the major sports?
Hockey. In fact, I'll leave hockey out. It's baseball or football.
Like a Royals run a couple years ago? I'm trying to figure some underdog that I just didn't see coming.
The last time a team had odds longer than the Pacers, 66-1, was 2003. The Florida Marlins were 75-1 preseason. 1991, the Minnesota Twins were 80-1.
Those are Kirby Puckett years?
Yep.
Yeah.
And 1999, the Rams of St. Louis.
That's the one that I was trying to place. Yeah.
They were 150-1, and now that's why the NFL, the odds now preseason, you hardly ever see something like 150-1. Even like the Panthers are probably 150-1. Like you've got to be a garbage can team to get crazy odds like that.
Keep in mind their quarterback was bowling turkeys down 3 years prior. So yeah, this would be in the realm of that. The best comparison I think would be Indiana and the Rams. That feels very much the same.
The longest shot. There's no NBA champion who's ever started the playoffs with worse than 80-1 odds. That's the worst ever. The 2011 Mavericks and the 95 Rockets were both 18-1 to start the playoffs. That is the longest shot who's ever won it. To start the 2007 playoffs, the San Francisco Giants were 50-1. That's nowhere near 80-1. 80-1 was, you could have gotten that before the playoffs started. You didn't have to wait all season. 80-1 when the playoffs started. This has never happened before. So if it does happen, and particularly if it happens against an Oklahoma City team that was looked at as such a dominant force, it is going to be one of the all-time stories. It's going to be like the greatest show on turf Rams. Like, this was never supposed to happen, but here we are. And that's kind of what makes sports great. Like every once in a while this happens.
But what does it do to Shea in his
it cripples him.
Arc of being a superstar?
It'll never be forgotten. It'll never be forgotten. I mean, even if he wins, first of all, let's say he wins 5 more titles after this, people will still, because if he wins 5 more titles, people will be putting him in a conversation that he probably doesn't belong in, and then people will say, yeah, but never forget, Jordan never would have let that thing happen with the Pacers.
Truth. Even LeBron came from 3-1.
Yeah, this is one of those things that will forever be on his resume in the negative box.
And thinking about that for the next 2 days.
Yeah.
I don't think he's the type that would, but somebody around him is.
They just don't care. The Pacers just don't care.
I think there's some safety in that.
There really is something to, like, whatever, man. If we lose, hey, it's been an awesome season. We did things that nobody thought we could do. Nobody thought we were going to be here, and we're here.
I tend to agree. And then we'll have the wild card of Rick Carlisle just putting his stamp on this series, and just when the great separator was the X's and O's.
And it's real easy to say, for people like me who are doubters, to say, well, how many more times can they pull this rabbit out of their hat? But now we're at a point where no matter what's happened in the past, we have to forget about that. They only have to pull 2 more rabbits.
Exactly. And they're fully capable of 0.8 or now 48. I mean, they control that game for just about the entirety. I mean, they were never more than 5 points away in any point. So we're having to change what our perception of this team is in front of our eyes. And again, I can't figure out why it's happening.
And the Pacers are doing something to the Thunder that they just haven't had to deal with, which is they're forcing them to play in the fourth quarter. And going into the fourth quarter, leading by at least 5 points this season, they were 60-3.
At the end of the day, this is the stat that matters.
60-3, and had a plus 10.8 net rating in playoff fourth quarters this season. Now, that 60-3 is now 61-5. 2 of their 5 have come in the last 3 games. Like, they have blown fourth quarter leads in 2 of the last 3 games, and the Pacers have outscored the Thunder by 27 points in the fourth quarters of these playoffs. That's something that the Thunder have not been prepared for, because the Thunder have gotten up on you. And have the Thunder slacked off in some fourth quarters, let some teams back into games? Yeah, but usually they're up so much it doesn't matter. They're in a position where they have not been, and it's.
Well, I would hope. I thought Denver had kind of taught them a lesson. I thought they had learned, man, you've got to be ready for game 3. You're going to walk into a snake pit no matter how good you feel about game 2. Game 3 is going to be a different world. These are grown men, professional athletes that are chasing the same thing you are. It's not going to be what you expect. And they got their ass kicked twice. I mean, it happened to you again. I thought that they had seen enough to overcome, or at least be prepared for what was coming, and they weren't.
Yeah. At the end of the day, man, we're talking about it just needs to happen 2 more times, and anything can happen 2 times.
Pucker factor, man.
Yep. And you're right. The Thunder have to be thinking about that, because that's a scary thought. Is we are 2 games away from becoming the wrong end of the unlikeliest championship in the history of the NBA.
The stink never gets off. Never.
No, that's something they will carry forever. All right, let's hit a break. We'll hear some sound from the game on the other side of this thing. I've also got some tickets to give away. I'll give away some. I've got a family 4-pack of Missions tickets for next Tuesday for $2 Tuesday.
Yes, sir.
And I've got some Louis the Singer tickets to give away as well. We'll do that. It's the Morning Huddle 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, this is. I want to talk to you about something you didn't really think about you'd be thinking about today, your water softener. And if you are thinking about it, you need to listen to what I have to say. And if you haven't thought about it, you need to listen, because rarely do you get a chance to get the very best. Kinetico water softener has been around San Antonio and South Texas for a long time, because what they build and what they make are perfect for where we are. Our water coming out of the aquifer and out of your well makes some good sweet tea, and for some of us, some fine light beer. But I'll tell you, that water leaves some sediment, leaves some leftovers that you do not want, nor do you need in your home. That stuff that you see on your dishes, that you feel on your skin, that weighs your hair down, that stuff you don't want. And Kinetico takes care of that without a thought. It's the way it's designed that's key. So you don't plug a Kinetico in. It works off kinetic energy. I act like I understand it. I don't, but it works. No motherboard to worry about, nothing even to plug in. It just goes to work every time you turn on the faucet. Saves you salt, saves you energy, and all those moving parts. There's nothing to break. That's why I'd like to brag on the warranty. I've never used it. I hear it's good, but at some point I might have to. See, I got this 10-year deal with mine. When you buy today, you got more than just the best coming to your home. You got a little gift. How about some money in your old water softeners, up to $400 there with approved credit? You got zero financing, and right now, a gift, a reverse osmosis drinking station on your sink, just for saying yes to the very best. Call 656-PURE, that's P-U-R-E, or go to KineticoSA.com for all the details. But now's your chance. Go get the very best, and come on by and thank me later.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
I told him, I said, if Jesus Christ came and knocked on my door, I would not be more surprised.
Ironically, you don't have to worry about that now, because if Jesus knocked on your door, Turley would run him off.
Thinking he was a homeless person.
Right, he's just a notorious homeless denier.
You and flip-flop man. Homeless denier!
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Nigel, why does our office look like a casino?
I call it employee engagement.
Folks, right now is the ideal time to hit the jackpot on comfort with Quarter Moon's Lucky Sevens AC tune-up. It's just $77 for a complete 7-point inspection.
Excuse me, bossman. I've got a good feeling about that slot machine next to your desk. Joel, I couldn't get an advance on next week's check, could I?
Call Quarter Moon Plumbing, AC and Heating for your Lucky Sevens AC tune-up. Just $77. 210-651-5899.
License number TACLA 141074EM16004.
Hi, my name's Jason Thompson. I've lived in San Antonio for more than 50 years. Went to grade school, high school, and graduated from law school right here. San Antonians have trusted me as their attorney after serious injury and fatality collision since 1994. My website is alawyerforus.com. Why a lawyer for us? Well, after several years of practice, I watched as insurance companies created their own law firms solely to defend against auto claims. Today, there are very few insurance companies that do not have their own captive law firm filled with attorneys whose job is to minimize what the insurance company has to pay on an auto claim. If you or a family member is injured in a traffic collision, you will need your own attorney. Just remember alawyerforus.com. For many lawyers you see on billboards, your case will be handled by a non-lawyer or a staff lawyer. If you call me, Jason Thompson, I will be the lawyer you speak with. The initial consultation is always free. If you or a family member needs an experienced attorney you can trust, I want you to call me, Jason Thompson. My number is 900-0400. That's 210-900-0400 or alawyerforus.com.
If you need to hire, you know it takes time. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. You simply pick a time and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day.
Try Zip Intro for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today. Talk to qualified candidates tomorrow.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, the Cowboys wrap up their mandatory minicamp. We'll hear from Coach Schottenheimer on how it went.
All the reaction from Game 3 of the NBA Finals between the Thunder and Pacers.
And the latest on the UTSA drama with their baseball coach, Pat Hallmark.
The Blitz starts at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. You're locked on The Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
It's showtime!
Morning Huddle 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Frank says Pacers winning versus OKC is nothing like the 04 Pistons. They're the most unlikely. Well, the odds vehemently disagree. Preseason that year, those Pistons were 15-1 to win the title. 15-1. That's that means they were probably like a top 7 or 8 team.
I mean, I'm not going to take away. That's pretty long odds. They were a surprise. But
okay.
I was more concerned about that team than I was Indiana.
How about this? By the time the postseason got around, the Pistons were 7-1. Going into the playoffs, by the time the playoffs came around, everybody knew the Pistons were good.
Yes. I mean, let's look back on that team. I mean, there's 2 Hall of Famers, maybe should be 3.
Yeah. So they were, 7-1 going into the playoffs for the Pistons, 80-1 going into the playoffs for the Pacers. Those things are not the same.
Ben, Rashid, Chauncey, Rip. I mean, that's a squad.
And it's real easy to look back and say, well, that Lakers team was supposed to be so good, no one thought they could win. But that Lakers team, at least, on paper, was not as good as this Thunder team. They didn't win as many games as this team did. The Pistons they're like 6th on the list all time of the biggest upsets to win the title. So the 15 Warriors were number 1. The 2011 Mavericks were number 2. 2019 Raptors 3. 2023 Nuggets were 4, and then the 04 Pistons were 5. These Pacers would beat all of them and by a country mile.
And the common denominator, not many, is Rick Carlisle. Rick
on 2 of those,
with Dallas and now.
Yep. So we'll see, man. They still got to do it, and that's the thing. It's a lot of teams have won 2 games in the finals, and
there's nobody out there. If OKC ripped off 3 straight, no one would be surprised.
No,
not no one. Even the deepest, most cherished Indiana Pacer fan would go, they know basketball in their heart of hearts, like you were saying. At the end of the year, if they end up losing it in 6, hell, this is a hell of a year, banner year. We'll be back. OKC's supposed to do this. You could live with that. And it wouldn't shock at all if OKC just put the hammer down and it was over. And that's what I can't get over right now is how did we get here, and how does this OKC team, diagonal in specifics, find a way to get around the momentum and turn their MVP back into an MVP?
Well, they asked Halliburton what they did to keep SGA bottled up last night.
With Shea, he's so good. He's so slippery, in between those gaps. It's like he splits screens that you're like, I don't know how he's doing that. And I think in game 2 specifically, if you watch a lot of my coverages, I did a poor job of being at the level. I was back, and then he could come off, and he had so much space. And now he's kind of manipulating me with in and out, or he can just split and throw through. I thought that was something we really had to clean up coming into today. And you're consistently trying to mix things up, because if you give any good player the same look over and over, it can be really tough.
He brought up something, AJ, that for kids today, learn to split a double team like Shea does it. Go watch the film of how he turns the corner, sees the double team going, reacts with his dribble, ducks his shoulder, and runs like a running back through that hole.
Yeah, you mentioned, we were talking about it off air. Iverson's, to me, the best that's ever done it. James Harden, as much as I hate him, was really great at that.
It's an art. You're born with it, man. You have to have eyesight like a running back to split like that.
LeBron is great at that. And a lot of it is because he's built in a way that's not really fair.
But there is something to that. But the way that Shea can split that double team, it's ridiculous. And to hear Halliburton say, "Man, it was on me. I got to be even or he's leaving," and they're right. And again, how are you down 2-1?
Yeah,
I mean, the MVP can turn just about any time he wants. They've gotten in his way. They haven't stopped him, and they're still sitting at 2-1, questioning everything about him.
I think that there are two guys that are I don't know that we've said either of their names today, but maybe the two guys who played the biggest role in the game last night, at least on the defensive end for the Pacers, are Nembhard and Shepherd. Andrew Nembhard and Ben Shepherd, who are kind of, they're looked at as just guys on one end, but they were the guys basically assigned to slow down Shea yesterday. And I thought both of them did a really good job.
Nembhard was in his jock, man.
Shepherd, stand up, Belmont University, attaboy. I'm not crazy about the standalone mustache, but you know what?
That's an interesting look.
Represent how you represent. Here's Carlisle talking about what those two guys did against Shea.
They're giving it their absolute full capacity effort all the time. We have to look at the fouls. Maybe there's some that are avoidable. But look, with him, he's the MVP. You just got to try to make it difficult. We just got to keep platooning people onto him and try to keep our guys fresh somehow.
So far, so good.
So far, so good.
I mean,
and they wore him down. Like you could in the fourth quarter. Like there was a play they highlighted it too, where the Pacers got an offensive rebound because Shea didn't follow the shot because he was so tired. And it's like, dude, that is something that you never see Oklahoma City do.
And you can't let that happen again, SGA. You're superstar. You're expected to do that stuff.
Here's Shea talking about the struggles he was having in the fourth quarter.
It's hard to say, because I don't see it from like a bird's eye view right now. After watching film, we'll definitely have a better idea. But they were aggressive. They were heavy in the crowd. I'm not sure how many points they had, but it felt like that when they scored, like we're going against a set defense, and it's always harder against a set defense. So off the top of my head, those are a few things, but I'm sure there's probably more that we can weave through once we watch film.
And then he talked about the defensive pressure that they put on him last night.
They were higher in the pick and rolls. They really were just, like Coach said, more aggressive, more forceful. Yeah, we got to – starts with me, but we got to apply that pressure back, especially if you want to beat a team like that on the road. You got to be the more forceful team for sure.
And he's going to have to bring the force as the point guard and as the lead guard. He's going to have to do both things.
All the pressure is on him because of what he's done this season and because he's the MVP. No one's ever going to, on Jalen Williams' long-term resume, it's going to knock him for losing this game or losing this series. Chet Holmgren is never going to be knocked for losing this series. Mm-hmm. This is a series that, guys like Siakam, if they win, they're going to say, man, Siakam's won title in two different places. This guy's a winner. If Nembhard wins, he's always going to be a dude who carried his team to a ring. If Rick Carlisle wins, think about that. He's got rings in two different places. Whereas on the negative side, the only guy who will be negatively affected, legacy-wise by this, is Shea.
Yes. And I'm trying to find an analogy, and the closest I can come up with, and this had nothing to do with titles or anything like this, was when David got handled by Akeem. It's still talked about. It wasn't in the finals, but it was one of those things where you go, man.
But it was a year where the Spurs were supposed to win.
Well, yeah, we had the best record in the league, and David was an obvious MVP, and he was at that point it was called the IBM award. It mattered back then, and it was all the stats kind of added together, and he was clearly that guy, and his team wasn't up to the task, and he wasn't either, and it took 2 rings before it finally took a little bit of the soft David away. Because that was laid squarely in his lap, good, bad, or indifferent, right or wrong. And it took 5 years and 2 rings to finally shake that. You're soft and even your regular season good. And, yeah, you're one of the top 5 players, but you ain't one of the top 5 teammates.
Well, I think he saw that nice guy doesn't work all the way through. And Hakeem was angry, and Hakeem is but they always say when he was Akeem, he was like, the people say he was like a terror. Like you didn't want to, like he would have cut you. But he just played with a nastiness that David didn't, and David didn't like it when
he
when
never
it
got
brought
any help, and Bob Hill left him out on an island. There was a lot of excuses or reasons to how you wanted to put it, but when you think of the season that David had that year, now that wasn't the 71-point game year, but David was as dominant as Shea was as far as individually. He was a human highlight film, and he was worth 25, 10, and 9 just rolling out of bed. And to see what happened in the playoffs, it took years for that to get kind of erased. And it took somebody else showing up to help that. Shea, I'm not saying that it'll stick that long if they go down, but this is one of those like, oh, we thought you were one thing, and you ain't.
No. So, Shea is, again, it's a legacy, 2 to 5 games, 2 to 4 games, sorry, at this point. It's going to come down for him. Dagnall talking about the turnovers and what he thought caused it.
I mean, the turnovers were uncharacteristic. Obviously, we're usually pretty clean there. I give them credit. I thought they played really well. They played with great energy. They were physical. They pressured. They sustained it for much of the 48. I thought we did some good things. I mean, we got off to a really good start and then got off to a really good start in the third. We really controlled the first and third quarters and had a really hard time in the second and the fourth. So we'll watch it. It wasn't all bad, but we definitely have to play, our style and impose our will for more of the 48 minutes if we want to come on the road and get a win.
This is the quote I really wanted to play, and I want your thoughts on this. Chet, who normally wouldn't be the guy to have the big quote, but I want to ask you if Chet's mindset is right here, or if he should be thinking about this series differently right now.
I wouldn't say that now is the time for emotions to be thinking about how you're feeling, emotional this, emotional that. Like, you kind of have to cut that out and just kind of look at the substance of what it is. We have a great opportunity here, and, the great thing is we have another game coming up, Game 4, so we can't be thinking about frustration or anything, no matter how good it's going, how bad it's going. The focus can't be on your emotions. It has to be on what we're trying to accomplish, task at hand.
Do you think the Thunder should get into their emotions a little bit?
That's the right answer at the end of a game, but it's the wrong answer in the game. You got to have some fire. And the thing is, Chet, you was on fire there in the first quarter. Emotion dominated you. Now maybe you expended too much because you weren't there in the fourth, but that emotion carried you to almost, at least in the first quarter, the MVP. You were the best guy on the court for about 12 minutes.
And the Thunder, listen, I can't feel bad for the Thunder because of this, but the Pacers, I think this was the best thing they did last night, was they beat up Shea and they beat up Chet Holmgren. Mm-hmm. They made it even when Chet was having success, they were hitting him. He's asking for fouls. Like, you have to bring physicality to this team because they're going to bring it to you on the other end. You have to beat them up and let them start wondering where the calls are. Like, I think that was really the X factor in this game, was because they beat up on Shea and Chet so much early on. In the second half, those dudes were out of gas.
I agree. I do agree with that. And it's a little bit of their own medicine. Mike Conley in the Minnesota series said, man, it took 3 games before I started feeling like I wasn't playing against 6 guys. And I think that Indiana now is starting to feel like I understand what they're doing now. I don't feel like I'm playing against 6 defenders on the court. They're seeing a little bit more space because they're used to it now. They've got film. They know where they're coming from, and it makes it a whole lot easier. I do like the way that Chet approaches it in that it ain't them, it's us. It's not them, it's us. And if we fix us, I ain't worried about them. And that's how I want my team thinking. Well, I'll give him that.
When you're the better team, that's the only way to think in my mind.
Everybody, if you're playing in the finals, you better be looking at it like it ain't them, it's us. And the moment you start thinking, it's them, they're just better there, now you're going to lose. So I appreciate what he's saying. It's just, it's an appropriate time and place to think that way.
Yeah, I'm curious to see. I mean, Game 4 is it. Like I said, this is the biggest game of Shea's career. biggest game of Mark
Everybody's career.
Dagnall's career. Like, there's a lot riding on this because I don't believe if they get down 3-1 that they can come back. I don't think they're grizzled enough to do that. But yeah, it's certainly more of an interesting series than I expected.
Oh, man. I do enjoy the small market fun, and I appreciate that we're getting to see teams that playing in cities that are 8 up. So, either way, this thing's going to carry momentum. The teams are going to carry them at home. They're going to have everything possible, and I do think there's a little bit extra this year for the home court. It just feels like these are their family playing.
All right. Let's hit – oh, you know what? Before we hit a break, let me give away some Louis the Singer tickets. How about that, Vic? Can you play some Louis for us? I want to remind the people what they're getting here. Louis the Singer, one for the hometown tour, coming to the Aztec Theater on September 20th. Oh, this is my favorite Louis the Singer song. Tell him, Vic.
It's country.
Oh, man. Bud Heavy.
He's from Fort Worth, we've come to find out.
Yep. Oh, you know on paper, I'm not the kind of guy your daddy wants you to meet.
Yeah.
I like that Vic and I are both wearing pink shirts today.
Right?
We planned that.
Yeah.
We talked about it at the end of the show yesterday.
It's hard to carry that off.
No, it is. You're right.
You both look good in it, though. It doesn't wash you out.
Thanks, man.
You got color. It looks good.
Thank you. I don't have color, but it's nice of you to say that. My color's fluorescent.
Opaque.
Okay.
Like powder.
He gets in the sun, he just bursts into flames.
I look like a vampire. If I was more handsome, I would look like a vampire. All right, Louis the Singer. Let's go with caller number 5. You'll go see Louis the Singer, one for the hometown tour, September 20th at the Aztec. All right, we'll be back. Wrap up the third hour of programming. It's the Morning Huddle, 94.1, San Antonio's Sports Star.
Arasti providers are all around San Antonio with one specific job in mind. That's to get you out of pain. And people always ask me, how do you find out about Arasti? Well, it's a lot of times it's people like me telling you about it because it's not common knowledge what Arasti does because it's such a unique part of the medical world because these are medical professionals that have been trained in other places that achieved the Arasti certification because they realized what it does for their patients because it's a method of getting you out of pain that you might not have tried before. It doesn't have anything to do with pills. It doesn't have anything to do with long-term fixes and surgery. It's your body fixing itself. And there are certain things that we deal with that Arasti is perfect for. So if you're dealing with soft tissue injuries, lower back issues, those muscle strains and sprains that just slow you down and nag you on and on, Arasti can fix it and fix it fast. Because when you walk into an Arasti provider, you get a full evaluation. They're going to find out what the problem is and fix the problem, not the symptom. And normally, when you fix the problem, all that pain goes away. So how do you find out? Well, first of all, they're all around San Antonio. If you want to find one, go to Arasti.com. They have a map there. Know when you walk in the door, they're going to accept most insurances. And here's the good news. You don't need a referral. Make that call right now. It's 1-800-404-6050. Again, the website is Arasti.com. Don't let pain keep you from doing things that you love. It's 2025. There's a fix out there. It's Arasti. Call them now, and you can come on by and thank me later.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. We do have a closure due to flooding on 1604 northbound between 35 on over to Lookout. 35 northbound Weidner to O'Connor. 2 right lanes closed due to flooding. Also, the exit ramp is closed. Perrin Vital, both directions. Northbound, southbound between Austin Highway on over to 410. If you do not need to be out and about, please stay indoors. It's been a very sad and tragic morning with folks trying to get through flooded areas and losing their life because of that. So please turn around. Don't drown. We are working accidents at 410 eastbound at Fredericksburg Road. 2 left lanes blocked. 1604 eastbound Stone Oak Parkway to 281. Only the far right lane is open. And a crash at 35 southbound just past O'Connor left lane. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by H-E-B. H-E-B's here to help you celebrate Dad the Texas way. Stop in for gifts, cards, grilling must-haves, and more for a special Father's Day he won't forget. All at H-E-B's everyday low prices. H-E-B. Here, everything's better.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Serving in the military requires great sacrifices, not just for one's country, but also for one's family. Not surprisingly, divorce for soldiers is especially difficult, and it raises a number of challenges that are peculiar to military divorce, things such as deployments, relocation, retirement benefits. These issues can be complicated. So if you're a soldier facing such challenges, go to CordellCordell.com.
San Antonio, Austin, and St. Louis. CordellCordell.com.
June is Gun Violence Awareness Month. Violence prevention is injury prevention.
911, what's your emergency?
Keep guns locked, secure, and out of reach of children. Firearms are the leading cause of death for people under 20. Never leave a gun in your vehicle. Stolen firearms are often used in other crimes. In a moment of conflict, don't let a split decision become a lifetime of regret. Never celebrate with gunfire. It's dangerous and illegal. Prevent an injury, store guns safely. Learn more at sa.gov/health.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
There's a reason Intuitive Services Group handles our janitorial needs here at 94.1. They're local and serious about cleanliness. From nightly cleaning to detailed floor care, they deliver. We trust them, and you can too. Call Mo at 830-470-3007. That's 830-470-3007.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Lone, restless, breakfast table in an otherwise empty room. Young girl, violins, center of her own attention. Oh, mother is a loud child, tries to understand it, tries to make her proud. The shades go down hers in her head. Painted room.
I used to like Pearl Jam. They were a band I appreciated.
Don't call me daughter.
Here we
Not meant to. Your picture kept remind me. Oh, good old Eddie. Eddie V.
Yep.
I don't know what that song's about. I don't know why. Don't call me. Why would they call you daughter?
I don't. I don't pretend to understand grunge.
Yeah,
drug addled.
She holds the hand that holds her down.
Yeah.
She will rise above. Everyone knows that. We've got some missions tickets to give away coming up here. I'll do that at the end of this segment. I want to make you wait for it. I don't want to just give it to you. I want you to earn it. I want you to want it. You want it? Tell me you want it. Tell me you want it. Do you want it or not? Claymore talking about the bad accidents and people. Dude, turn around. Don't drown. Listen to me. Listen to my words. Don't drown. Nobody wants you dead. We don't have enough listeners yet for you guys to just die off.
I know. Yeah.
All right.
Don't do it.
We can't. Listen, we know it's inevitable. People die every day. What we don't want is our listeners to die. So
especially if you have a meter.
That's right. This is your
Stay
PSA.
alive.
Stay alive.
We will find you.
If you listen to this show, I beg of you, stay alive. We need it.
Yep.
We need it. You might be wondering, I think you were wondering probably, what's going on in the big U.S. Open? Oh.
We are about an hour in, right?
What is it? Where is it? Oakmont?
At Oakmont in Pennsylvania.
Oakmont Country Club.
I bet they have a fine crest.
What's going on in Oakmont? Well, I'll tell you. Your leader currently, through 8 holes today, is a made-up person named J.J. Spawn.
Is he part of the Scandinavian contingent?
No, he is American. Oh. Bad news for me. Rory McIlroy is at 2 under through 6. So he's actually playing pretty
Pacing
well.
himself.
Ludwig Oberg, our favorite Scandinavian, is sitting at 1 under par. Of course, Niklas Norgard is also at 1 under par. So that's the guy we really got to worry about, Niklas Norgard. Other names you may be curious about, Bryson DeChambeau, even through 6 holes. Xander Schauffele, even through 6 holes. They are paired together. How about this one? Big Phil. Big Philly style, even through 5.
Does he
hasn't
like,
blown it
You
yet.
think does he like play alone and no one talk to him?
No one talks
Is
to
he not
him,
allowed?
no.
Are they not allowed to
No.
mingle with? Don't talk to Phil.
Don't
He's
talk
a
to
bad
him.
influence.
No, yeah, don't talk to him. He's trying to recruit you to the live.
You'll end up taking your.
Oh
Yeah, he don't talk. Don't be around
Don't talk to
him.
Phil. He's bad influence.
Don't be around him. Shane Lowry is 1 over. Tommy Fleetwood, Cam Smith, both 1 over. Hideki Matsuyama, 2 over through 8. Keegan Bradley is 2 over through 8. Patrick Cantlay, 3 over. Who else is notable here? You may notice that I have not said the name of the hero, the big shot, Scotty Scheffler. He doesn't tee off until a little later today. Neither do Jordan Spieth, Brooks Koepka, Justin Thomas, Dustin Johnson, Victor Hovland, a lot of other, Colin Morikawa, a lot of guys to tee off. But, yeah, as it stands now, your leader in the clubhouse sits at 4 under. Not in the clubhouse. Your leader on the course sits at 4 under through 8 holes.
Yeah.
J.J. Spawn.
I had to look him up.
He's made up, right?
He's 34
is
years
he an AI
old.
character?
He was born in L.A. His parents, both Dolly and John, are quite excited about
Dolly Spawn?
Dolly Spawn. He's a proud graduate of San Dimas High.
You know what? He's apparently he said that the riots happening in L.A. are really spurning him on, and he's playing for the
he's playing for the downtrodden.
He's playing for the protesters. Mark says J.J. Spawn won the Valero Open in 2022.
That's right. I'm reading his bio
my
right
bad,
this
Mark.
second. Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
That was it? I guess that was it.
You know what?
He's also.
I stand corrected. He's not made up.
He's also diabetic.
Oh, Vic, your
J.J.
brethren.
Spawn.
Yeah. Welcome to the family.
Spawn has missed 14 to 26 cuts, posted just one
she a-
top 10 finish. In
Is she a great big
2021.
fat person?
He fought through his diabetes.
Does he have the type 1 or the type 2?
I haven't. We don't get that. That's HIPAA.
What's the type like? What's your type, Vic?
The one that you.
Type 2.
Type 2 is the tortilla type, right?
Yeah,
like you just
it's the
ate
most
your
common
way
one.
into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Type 1 is like Jay Cutler, who's got a
Kinda
Jonas
born with it.
Brothers. Yeah, the Jonas Brothers are type 1, I believe.
all of them.
I think 2 of them are.
Oh, what a bad break.
Mm-hmm.
What a
Yeah,
bad
they're
break.
constantly injecting insulin in between. And
You know what I've always thought about the Jonas Brothers? Really hard life they had. Like it's like they just got dealt a raw hand in life.
That's tough.
Yeah, they can afford the medicine. They can afford everything, and sucks for them.
Sucks being
One
talented,
of them married
handsome.
extraordinarily well.
I would assume all of them would
Well,
marry.
one of them. She's the Indian actress, whatever. She is smoking hot.
That's like saying, Justin Timberlake's had some hot chicks.
No, this one is. I don't know her name, but I was astounded. Even he was above his stature.
Well, is it Joe Jonas?
I don't know that. I don't know.
I don't even know what I
They
can't.
all-
I can't name the other Jonas brothers. Joe Jonas is the one that
There's
I know.
Nick, Joe, and Kevin.
There's only 3 of them.
Evident. Well, that's all I'm seeing.
I would have thought there was 4 if you had asked me.
Is there like an illegitimate son?
Oh,
Priyanka Chopra.
okay. Joe Jonas is the one that was married. I don't know if they're married anymore.
Sophie Turner.
Yeah, he was married to the gal from Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they got divorced.
Oh well, she'd probably kill him in her sleep.
It was Sansa.
Yeah.
Sansa, who, by the way,
Shansha.
Sansa was underrated hot chick on that show.
Yes, she was.
definitely.
And when you see
You
her in
look
other
her.
stuff, you're like, hey, go ahead,
Yeah,
Sansa.
she's a good looking gal.
Stacked.
They didn't really they didn't try to make her look that hot in that show, but she's a pretty good looking gal.
Priyanka Chopra's got it
Now
running
the
for
other
her
one,
money.
what is it? The Tyrell, the other hot chick?
Marjorie. Oh.
She was a vixen. Marjorie was a little vixen.
She was a naughty Thing.
She had the gay brother, the gay prince king. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She did whatever Joffrey wanted.
Well, she was trying to get Joffrey to go.
Ooh.
She made Joffrey a man.
Gilbert he said Priyanka Chopra was the Miss World winner back in the early aughts.
I'm very impressed.
Miss World. Ooh. Yeah, she's a good-looking lady.
She is.
Good-looking lady. Again, Jonas Brothers, tough life, man. Oof.
I feel bad.
Must be hard.
More money, more problems.
Although it does say here that Joe Jonas is 5'7".
See, God giveth and taketh away.
Mm-hmm.
It all comes out in the wash.
Yep. So you win that one, Vic.
Yep.
Yeah, tell him to suck on that.
Yeah.
I'm a 6 foot diabetic.
You're going to be 6 feet. You're going to be taller, but we're taking a kidney.
You're a 6 foot Mexican. You're like
I'm rare.
You're like Yao Ming.
Yeah. I'm a rare person.
You are. When Vic is like us at Fiesta, Rob. Like Fiesta, Rob and I never have a problem finding each other.
Towering over the
Oh, yeah.
We just look like giraffes with our heads sticking out.
We're like, hey, Vic, raise your beer so we can see you.
I can see you. Hey.
Matt says Groucho is the fourth Jonas brother. I think that's actually true.
Ship.
Yeah, that's. Oh, what a world. What a world. All right. We have talked a lot of NBA today, but the NFL still going. It's still happening here. And this is weird. What are your thoughts on the Denver Broncos?
I think they're still a work in progress. I think they're ahead of schedule.
I hear so many people talk about the Broncos like they think this is a Super Bowl team.
They're not. But I think Peyton's a Super Bowl coach, and I think that they stumbled, even though Peyton tells you he's the one he wanted, on a quarterback. And it fast-forwarded this. They found a guy that might not be a great quarterback, but he's a winner. He reminds me a lot of Dak Prescott, a guy who's just going to win football games. If everything else is okay.
Bo Cephas you're talking about?
Bo Cephas, yeah. The guy's just a winner. And I think it kind of transformed that organization with the exit of Russell. You add Peyton in it and a kind of a belief that this guy can coach moderate talent. He doesn't have to have great talent to win.
Well, I mean, Bo Nix was the guy that Sean Payton wanted.
He swears it. I don't believe it. He swears it. But
you know why I believe it? Because what school does Sean Payton come from? The Bill Parcells school.
Oh, no, you're right.
Bill Parcells, his big thing was, I want a quarterback who played at a big program, played for 4 years, and won in college.
And won't do anything stupid.
And that's Bo Nix.
Yeah,
Bo
no,
Nix
I
all
agree
those
with
things.
all of that, but I still looked at Nix as a guy who was everything but an arm. You know, he had everything else, but he didn't have an arm.
What was Drew Brees?
Exactly.
And so Sean Payton knows what he knows what he likes.
But he wasn't his first choice. But the moment he got him, he was like, jackpot, because I know how to work with a dude like that. And everybody around Denver feels the same way. I don't think they're as good as others think they are, but I think they're ahead of the plan.
J.K. Dobbins. No, I mean, J.K. Dobbins is on the team. So, but he thinks that this team's poised to win a Super Bowl. He says defense is really good, like super good. The quarterback is amazing. I like the running back room as well. The O-line's amazing. It was a no-brainer. Coach Sean Payton, I know I'm going to get coached well here.
Mm-hmm.
But I've heard more and more people talk about the Broncos as like a team.
They're in a high-rent
we
neighborhood.
We got to keep an eye on. And he said, J.K. Dobbins said, I came here to get a ring. He's like, I came here because I believe I can help bring a Super Bowl.
He knows what a winning
to this city.
team looks like. I mean, he's been on solid football team, but they got to get through some things. I mean, it's not impossible, but they do have Kansas City, sitting next door to them.
Well, and the Chargers look like they're
better,
pretty damn good.
And even the Raiders are going to be a little improved. So I don't think it's impossible, but I'm not going to put them on a fast track to Super Bowl. It's like Cowboys talking Super Bowl. Like, I appreciate the effort.
I think, to me, the Cowboys is even more reasonable because they play in the NFC, which feels more wide open.
It's true, but we all know.
The three teams at the top of the AFC, it feels like that's a tough wall to break through, like Buffalo, Kansas City, Baltimore.
Truth.
I mean, on paper last year, Kansas City was probably the weakest of those three teams, and they were in the Super Bowl. It's just going to be – I feel like it's going to be hard for someone else to break through unless – they get like a would have to be, and you know what? Not even that. A special quarterback performance, which I don't think Bo Nix is quite capable of yet.
Think he is.
But I mean, Joe Burrow was the best quarterback in the league last year. Arguably, statistically, he was, and they couldn't even make the playoffs. So
I don't. You're gonna have to prove it to me with Bo. I think he's solid. Yeah, I think he's gonna be good as long as he's with Peyton and they're tailoring the offense to him, never making him throw downfield on a rope. Everything is gonna be in space and. Lots of picks to get guys open and moving, and the run game going to be solid. Everything that New Orleans was, I expect to see, but I'm not going to believe that he's Drew Brees until he shows me he's something like Drew Brees.
All right, so Bills, Ravens, Chiefs, plus 350, plus 350, plus 370.
I think I'd put them all at 350.
Those are the three favorites.
And so the Chiefs are 370?
Yeah. So how many teams do you think after those three are ahead of the Broncos?
Oh. I'd put 3 or 4.
How about 1?
San Diego?
Cincinnati.
Cincy above the Chargers?
Cincinnati's plus 950. Broncos 12-1.
I'd put them above Cincy.
The Chargers are also 12-1. Texans 19-1. Steelers 20-1. So there's
more power to them, but I think they're further away than a lot.
I still think so too. I mean, you look at the quarterbacks in that conference, and then there's Bo Nix.
Right.
All right, 1 hour to go. Morning Huddle 94.1.
You're listening to the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. KTFM Floresville.
This report is sponsored by H-E-B. H-E-B's here to help you celebrate Dad the Texas way. Stop in for gifts, cards, grilling must-haves, and more for a special Father's Day he won't forget. All at H-E-B's everyday low prices. H-E-B. Here, everything's better.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Since 1993, Thomas J. Henry dedicated himself to building a firm that injured clients can trust and respect. A firm backed by a track record of success and a commitment to our clients. If you've been injured, trust Thomas J. Henry. San Antonio, Texas.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
If you need to hire, you know it takes time. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. You simply pick a time and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day.
Try Zip Intro for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today. Talk to qualified candidates tomorrow.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
See website for details. Bills Happen is not a lender and does not make credit decisions. Hey, bills happen. So when you need extra cash fast, go to billshappen.com. Have you been turned down? Are your credit cards maxed out? Do you have bad credit? Go to billshappen.com. All you need is a job and a checking account. You can find a lender and get up to $5,000 cash as early as tomorrow at billshappen.com. BillsHappen.com is the smart way to get a personal lender now. So if you need extra money for car repairs, medical bills, family emergencies, whatever you need cash for, go to BillsHappen.com and you can get the money you need as soon as the next day, up to $5,000. At BillsHappen.com, our process is safe, secure, and all online. No one to deal with in person. And Bills Happen does not charge you any fees to use our service. It's easy. When you need a lender, just remember, when bills happen, go to BillsHappen.com. BillsHappen.com for the cash you need now. BillsHappen.com.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. We do have a closure due to flooding on 1604 northbound between 35 on over the Lookout. 35 northbound Weidner to O'Connor. 2 right lanes closed due to flooding. Also, the exit ramp is closed. Perrin Vital, both directions. Northbound, southbound between Austin Highway on over to 410. If you do not need to be out and about, please stay indoors. It's been a very sad and tragic morning with folks trying to get through flooded areas and losing their life because of that. So please turn around. Don't drown. We are working accidents at 410 eastbound at Fredericksburg Road. 2 left lanes blocked. 1604 eastbound Stone Oak Parkway to 281. Only the far right lane is open. And a crash at 35 southbound just past O'Connor left lane. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA Time Saver Traffic.
San Antonio Sports Center.
The NBA Finals continued last night as the Indiana Pacers took a 2-1 lead with a 116-107 win behind Benedict Matherin's 27 points off the bench. Game 4 tomorrow right here. In the NFL, we have a release date for the Netflix Dallas Cowboys docuseries, America's Team, The Gambler and His Cowboys. It's going to drop August the 19th on Netflix. I'm Rob Thompson for 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Sports Center brought to you by Synergenics. Book your appointment at fixmylowteam.com.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the final hour of the program. Morning Huddle 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Almost a big Friday. Almost there.
We're almost there, friends. How about that? Feels so good, doesn't it? Feels.
Doing a Robert Earl Keen feels so good. Feeling good again.
Yeah, I mean, everything just feels so good about a Friday. It's you can't beat it, man. You really can't beat it.
Find 3 20s and a 10. I can quote a song lyric all day.
There we go.
Something appropriate constantly.
See? You got it. You talk about me knowing all the words. You know all the words.
It's all about the catchphrase.
How about this? Let's do so the hook brings you back. June 17th. That's next Tuesday. That is $2 Tuesday at the Missions game. They're taking on the Frisco Rough Riders. Rough Riders. We're gonna rough their ass up. I'll tell you that much. Missions are suck the whole Rough Riders. That's what we're gonna say. Rough this up. How about a family 4-pack of tickets? You take your whole squad out there, eat a bunch of $2 hot dogs, $2 domestic drafts, eat some cheese pizza slices for $2. You can't beat that deal, man. Let's go caller number, well, it's a family 4-pack. Let's go caller number 4. Caller number 4, you win 4 tickets to the game next Tuesday out at Nelson Wolff Stadium. Be there or be square. There's no basketball game that night either.
No.
So, because the game's on Monday. So Tuesday's an off night. If you want to go catch some minor league baseball.
I'm trying to find the standings here.
Ray says, how's the East wide open? Eagles are the defending champs. Commanders went deep in the playoffs. I said the NFC's wide open, and I stand by that. Yeah, I mean, the Eagles are the rightful favorites to win the NFC, but there's a bunch of teams who might be good and might be no good in the NFC. Does anybody think the Commanders are going to be as good as they were last year?
I give them a better prognosis than I gave the Texans the year before. And I don't know.
I give them a worse one because they play in a tougher division.
There's something about McDaniels and Dan Quinn. I'm giving them a little bit more credit. I don't know why. I think there might be a little bit more entrenched talent. I think Philly is solid. I'm a little bit higher on Detroit than you are. I think Detroit's going to be back fighting for it again.
Are the Packers good or not good?
That's the one. I think Green Bay is on a tipping point. I don't know.
Are the Rams good or not good?
I think their arrow is pointing down. I think they're grasping at straws.
I think there's a lot, much like San Francisco last year. I mean, you would have said San Francisco can't not be good.
Right. I agree. And there's going to be one of those teams that's going to be a San Francisco. One of the teams I just mentioned will be a team that's injured and not living up to promise, but I don't know which one that'll be.
The Eagles are the only team in the NFC that I have any certainty about them being good.
I'm comfortable that they're going to be good. So that declines Washington by 2 games probably right off the bat.
And you know what? Even when I say that, how much do I trust Jalen Hurts? I don't know. Probably not it's not explicitly. I can tell you that much.
Of all the teams that I expect to be good, Philly can survive an average Jalen Hurts. They don't need a whole lot of Hurts to go win. The tush-push, shoot.
Here's the other thing, though. Defense in the NFL, and the Eagles won on their defense. Defense in the NFL varies year to year much more than offense. So it's very rare for a team that's top 10 in defense one year or top 10 in offense one year to be bottom 10 the next year and vice versa. Defense, you see teams from the bottom 10 go to the top 10 all the time. Teams from the top 10 fall to the bottom 10. It's not that rare. Defense is
I think it's
less
coaching
predictable.
driven, and I think individuals can make a much bigger difference on a defense than an individual on an offense. You can change a defense with one guy.
I just think when you look at Detroit, Washington, San Francisco, Green Bay, Rams, Bucks, Vikings, Cowboys, Bears. You've got a bunch of teams that if they're good, I won't be shocked. If they're not good, I won't be shocked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think there's a lot of variance there, but I do have a better prognosis for Washington than the Texans. And maybe it's Dan Quinn. Maybe it's the fact that there was some talent already there and they just weren't being utilized like it should have been. That defense is better than the Texans thought they were. The offensive line's a little bit better than the Texans were.
Well, when the Texans got first place, guess what happened to them? Now all of a sudden the Bills, the Chiefs, and the Ravens are on your schedule.
And the one difference to me is I think Jaden McDaniel might end up being better than Stroud just because he can move and do some things. I don't know why I feel that way. I think that the Cowboys are being puffed up a little bit more than they should be. But I do think they're capable of beating the Commanders when given the opportunity. And I think that even on a home field, they could probably even beat Philly. That doesn't mean they're great. That just means that they know how to beat Philly.
Yeah, I just think the NFC, there's a lot more like if something happens to the Eagles, it feels like it's wide open. You know what I mean? Whereas in the AFC, let's say if Josh Allen, knock on whatever this is made of, breaks his leg, then you still got to beat the Ravens or the Chiefs, probably both of them to get to the Super Bowl. Whereas if something happens to the Eagles, it just feels like it's anybody's. Anybody's there for the taking. Whereas in the AFC, it just feels like they're so top heavy that a lot would have to happen for another team to come up and do something.
In the NFC, what would you think would be the most? And granted, injuries are flaky and you can't really predict. But What's the team that's most likely to look like San Francisco? That just for whatever reason,
Detroit.
injury, ineptitude, and just depth.
I think Detroit.
Detroit could
I think
come
Detroit.
back to the
I think
mean.
Detroit losing both of their coordinators is a bigger deal than most people think.
What do you think about Minnesota? I mean, they didn't lose a coordinator, but they lost a quarterback who was the greatest redemption story.
They lost
JJ?
Kirk Cousins the year before, and everybody said, "Oh, they can't do anything." We have Sam Darnold. Yeah, I think the Vikings are so driven. Their quarterback success is driven by their coach more than the players. So I expect J.J. McCarthy to be pretty good. I expect him to be as good as Sam Darnold, because I mean, if I had told you before last season, who do you think gives the Vikings a better chance to win, J.J. McCarthy or Sam Darnold? I think most people would have said J.J. McCarthy, because Sam Darnold was a proven loser.
I'm a little concerned. He's not a rookie. He's had plenty of film and practice time, but he's still not. I haven't seen him.
That's fair. I mean, it was the same thing people said about Jordan Love, and I still sometimes I see Jordan Love and I'm like, man, that guy's really good, and sometimes I go, I'm not sure.
I think your most likely candidate to let teams down or let fans down or would be Detroit, because
they've got higher expectations than most of them.
And at the end of the day, they rely so much on emotion and not so much on some other things that I do think it's easy to get derailed.
The other team I'll say is Washington. I really think it wouldn't shock me if Washington goes 7-10.
Yeah, or it wouldn't shock me if they went 12-5. They could.
That would shock me.
Well, I mean, you talk about an electric quarterback and a hot coach. Dan Quinn's been known to get on heaters before, so. I do think the NFC is a little bit more wide open, though, that there's certainly better teams in the AFC. You know what I mean? I think there's more good teams in the NFC, but when we're weighing the talent and where the good stuff, I look at Philadelphia as the best, most Super Bowl-ready team, obviously. And then after that, there's a lot of questions, Detroit being right behind. AFC, man, I know Buffalo. I know what Baltimore is. Those are teams, man. I know Kansas City can't either. They're on the definite decline or they're going to bounce back. It just feels like AFC's got all the good ones and the NFC's got all the contenders with a chance.
Well, it's because the AFC's got all the quarterbacks. The AFC quarterbacking is elite, so it's real easy to picture, that team, because they've got this guy, of course they could do it.
What do you think, before we get off this, and we're talking about teams that might disappoint, and while Kansas City disappointed in that they're not Super Bowl champions, they didn't really disappoint during the regular season. They won when appropriate.
Yeah.
Do you see a potential possible 49er year where they're just out of dudes?
No. I mean, barring a Mahomes injury, no, I don't see that.
But at some point, you got to figure tight end gets old. You got to figure you can't continue rotating through
tight end's already been
average,
old.
Average wide receivers, and you still really haven't told me you got a decent running back. But
Brady made a career of not having a running back and rotating through
reasons. I'm trying to find where's the chink in the armor in the AFC. Who's the possible letdown? So if it ain't them,
I'll tell you who I think is going to have a much worse than expected season is the Dolphins. I think the shine is off of them. I think now the Tyreek Hill drama, I
don't expect much from them.
I think the league has figured out Tua.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be a rapid decline to where Mike McDaniel might get fired this year.
It might, we go back to all those coaches that had the gimmick offenses that for a couple of years were setting everything on fire, but there was always the Achilles heel, the one problem that was insurmountable. And I think that cold weather at the end of the day will be the end of the Dolphins. Who'd have thought?
Who's your surprise team? Give me a surprise team in the NFC.
In the NFC,
who do you think will be better than most people think?
In the NFC, the Commanders, I don't think are the best. I think the Commanders. I think they're going to be. I like McDaniels. I think that team feels hot, and I think the little bit of drama we're dealing with right now with Terry McLaurin will kind of serve up a little bit it'll help them in the long run, because they do have talent on the edges and they do have a decent running back. I think they're going to be a surprise team, and as much as they can surprise.
I think the Rams are going to be pretty good. Like you said that you think there's a decline.
I think they're almost out of time.
I think getting Devontae Adams
did help,
and when we talk about the quarterbacks in the NFC, there's not a lot of quarterbacks who have been there and done it. Jalen Hurts is one. The other one's Matt Stafford.
Yeah, he can still throw a dart with the best of them. But you know what? I've been thinking they've been out of time for 3 years. Eventually, I'll be right.
They keep finding a way. In the AFC, I think a surprise team. I don't know if the Chargers count as a surprise team, so I won't write them down. But I think the New England Patriots might be feisty. Like might be.
What would be a good year? 9 wins?
I mean, 9 years would be a phenomenal for that. I mean, but I think they're going to be the second best team in the AFC East.
It wouldn't. Well, that's a big ask.
What, the Dolphins suck? The Jets suck?
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, it's open for the taking. I think they could be that.
Well, not that I expect a whole lot from the Jets, but I do think they're going to be improved.
And I think that the Patriots have the second best quarterback in the AFC East.
I put about as much stock as I put in McCarthy. He could be. Yeah. You know, I think a lot of things have to go right. I think they're both super talented, but I think, you know, there's not a lot around me. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of help yet, and the other young quarterbacks have a little bit more help.
Gary says Seahawks will be better. I don't know. I mean, the Seahawks were pretty decent last year, and
they're going through a bit of a reset, man.
Is Sammy better than Geno was? I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah, and losing wide receivers, K-9's going to have to get healthy. This is a franchise reset for them.
Is there a team, the lowly AFC South, do the Jags interest you?
No. I think that
they're never going to turn the corner with Trevor Lawrence.
I mean, they gave him some help. He's got some, but no, there's always some kind of vagary.
It's just
there.
such a winnable division.
Yeah, and I just don't get it. If it doesn't happen this year, it ain't going to happen.
The AFC South odds, the Texans are the obvious favorite. They're plus 115. The Jags are second at plus 260. Colts plus 380. Titans plus 650. So it's there. It's there for the taking.
Oh boy, is that the worst? Are they?
Is it the worst division?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
by far, right?
Well, but also, I mean, it's because the team at the very top isn't. We don't even know how good the Texans are.
I have no idea.
I mean, the AFC East is dreadful. Besides Buffalo, the NFC South is also really bad because I don't know if Tampa's good, but I know the Falcons stink. I know the Panthers stink, and I know the Saints stink.
All of them have arrows up though.
The Saints don't.
Well, no,
the Saints
right.
are
they're
flatlined.
Yeah, they've. I shouldn't count it. But Carolina's got to be better, right? They can't be. They got to be better.
Yeah.
I mean, just by happenstance, they're drafting better. But I would say that at least one of those teams is going to be surprisingly better, and I'm not sure I can say that about the South.
About the AFC South?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, there's always the hope that Trevor Lawrence can turn into what he was supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, how many times they're going to throw more talent? Maybe it's there. But, you know, they certainly have wide receiver talent, and maybe Etienne could do it. And there's all these maybes. We'll see.
And there's also the possibility, we've seen it 2 years in a row, a special quarterback show up and take a team that was a dog into a playoff team.
Cam Ward
and maybe Cam Ward can be that guy. If he can do what C.J. Stroud did, do what Jaden Daniels did, then – yeah, the Titans, in my mind, they're just bereft of talent.
Did they really upgrade at quarterback, though?
Yes.
Are you sure? My man Levis? You sure?
We could find a guy at Brackenridge Park throwing around a football.
Talking about the
that
mayonnaise
I'd rather
king
have
here.
than Will Levis.
Talking about greatness. Just uncorked.
All right, when we come back, we'll see what's going on in the world outside of sports. It is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I had a Hopadillo Imperial last night, a double dillo, as they call them. Sitting there watching the game. Finally got internet at my house. I said, "Ooh, get to drink my own beer for once." And it's great to have it at the house. But when you go out, you can still get Carbach pretty much everywhere you go. They are all over San Antonio, friends. Of course, the grocery stores, the liquor stores, but your favorite bars, restaurants likely have, if not on tap, they likely at least have some cans of Carbach floating around. And there's something for everybody in the lineup. If you're not a Hopadillo fan, you're not an IPA fan, that's all right. They've got the Love Street. That's their best seller. That's their Cold-style blonde ale. Very smooth, easy, light beer, especially great if you're kind of an entry-level craft beer guy. And Crawford Bock, Ziegenbach, I think those are great year-round beers. And then the Fun Series right now has that rhubarb, which is a little bit of a little strawberry, sort of a rhubarb type feel to it. Not quite sour, not quite sweet, just a great summertime beer. Going to be great for you by the pool. Something for everybody. Go check them out. When you're out and about watching the games this week, go ahead and ask your bartender to please make it a Carbach.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. It was a heck of a morning rush hour. It's going to spill into your midday commute. 35 northbound, Thousand Oaks. This wreck has only 2 center lanes open. On the southbound side of Thousand Oaks, only the left lane open. Southbound 35 just past O'Connor. That wreck is in the left lane. 1604 westbound Redland Road. We've got a disabled vehicle, left lane blocked. 35 northbound Weidner to O'Connor. We still have 2 right lanes closed with flooding. Also, the off-ramp is closed on the frontage road. Northbound 35, the off-ramp to Loop 410. Still flooding in the area. Perrin Vital, both directions between Austin Highway to 410. Still flooding in the area. Please be very careful if you need to be out and about this midday. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA. Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Perfect for instant contact with an aging parent. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get an extra 60% off. Free UPS shipping and add code RADIO for an extra 5% off.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Teams are battling for the championship, and there's no better place to get in on the intensity than ESPN Bet. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Stop by Sherwin-Williams and get 30% off select paints and stains June 13th through the 23rd. It's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Refresh your home inside and out with colors that make every space feel brand new. From cozy interiors to stunning exteriors, we've got the perfect shade for your next project. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
George gets justice.
At George Salinas Injury Lawyers, we don't just represent crash victims, we fight for them. When an accident impacts your life, my team and I are committed to obtaining the justice you deserve. We approach every case with dedication because each one is personal to us. Our promise, no payment unless we win. Call 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com.
George gets justice. Getgeorge.com.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
I want to rock your body. Dance with me, baby. Yeah, yeah.
I don't think I ever had a bad time when this was on.
No.
Right? Every time I hear this, I'm like, I don't know when it was, but it was a good time.
All right, let's see what's going on in the world outside of sports. First of all, Beach Boys founder, singer Brian Wilson.
Was he a great influence on you?
Not on me, but I think he was a great
fan.
influence on a lot of the bands that I cared about.
The number of musicians that I do appreciate, man, they look at him as one of those founding fathers for them, one of those OGs.
A lot of people love Brian Wilson. Well, and of course, he clearly influenced Wilson Phillips.
Of course.
If you hold,
we're all just 3 degrees away.
It all
from
comes
Wilson
full circle.
Phillips.
But he is widely regarded as especially for Americans as a one of the great singer-songwriters that we've had. You know who else was a big admirer of him? Charlie Manson. Even he had a lot of great things to say about Brian Wilson. So, R.I.P. to Brian Wilson.
Well, I'd have killed to known Brian Wilson like that.
Yeah, some people did. Some people did. Yes, Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, by the way, Brian Wilson, along with his.
Never got into the Beach Boys beat.
It's not for me. It's a little too old school for me. A little too. I don't want to say it's a little too soft.
Yeah, it's a little dad
too
rockish.
soft for my liking. I like things a little rough. You know what I'm saying?
Erasure.
That's right.
In excess. Those pretty bands.
A driver was killed in the town of Elba, New York, after a liquid manure truck rolled over.
God is calling you home.
Yeah.
He takes you that way.
Truck was heading south and hit a left curve, started to roll over and landed on its roof. The truck was filled with liquid poop. I hate when that happens. I'd hate to be the cleanup crew for that also. I don't think he was actually, I don't think he drowned in poop. I think the impact of the actual crash is what killed him. I hope, anyway. Because can you think, the reason I bring this up, is there a worse way to die than drowning in liquid excrement?
Right up there. That's right up there with
because drowning is awful.
Yeah.
And poop is awful.
And combine the two. Now, if he somehow was lit on fire from the methane gas,
flaming
we'd have the holy
poop.
trinity of
You're
weird
right.
deaths all rolled up into one.
That would have been terrible. What would you think would happen to someone who was driving under the influence and caused an accident and then did a hit and run? What do you think the punishment would be for someone like that?
I would think at the very minimum community service.
I would think that too. There was someone in a Jeep who the guy hit a Mustang and the Jeep flipped over. Someone else was in that and the guy drove away, took off.
Okay.
That's a big crime, right?
That is leaving the scene. There's a variety of
now
acts there.
What do you think the punishment is when I tell you that this guy who did it is a police sergeant?
Is it a small town or a large town?
Myrtle Beach.
That's a larger town. Yeah. Probably in trouble. I would think that
charges dropped.
Right.
What do you mean, why? You know why?
I mean, but they had to have given a reason. They didn't even come up with a bogus
not
reason.
even a reason.
He's a cop and we protect our own.
No reason. It's just.
Haven't you seen the Brett Favre documentary?
Oh, man. Yeah, that's about right.
He was on administrative leave for a little while, and then they were like, you know what? That's punishment enough.
We need the badge.
That's punishment enough. Now, there is still.
Leave?
The driver of the Mustang is still. Alleged, he's got a civil suit alleging negligence that is still pending, but the criminal charges have been dropped.
Wow.
In a shocking development. Here's a plot twist on the National Guard. Did you see the National Guard got preemptively sent to San Antonio?
Yeah, well, in response to a Democratic lesbian mayor, we had to send in the.
Well, this is bad news if you're a National Guard guardsman or guardswoman. The ones that got sent to L.A., the Pentagon forgot to do something, activate their benefits and get them paid. So far the
What?
Well,
yeah, it's like these guys are like, hey, wait a minute. Right now we're not being treated like soldier. We're doing soldier stuff, but we're not getting paid and we're not getting our benefits. Well, that's weird.
When we were as a member of the Air Guard, and there's different. I mean, when you're called into duty, sometimes you get credit for 2 days instead of one, depending on the kind of duty you're doing. So
duty.
Yeah, I said it. So if they're called into federal duty, I wonder if they're getting 2 days credit.
I don't know. Toward
retirement. Probably not.
I mean, I would hope so.
I would hope.
How about this? A man was charged with drug offenses after law enforcement pulled him over. They found more than 2 pounds of cocaine in his vehicle.
That's a lot of pink stuff.
It's about $100,000 worth of vehicle hidden in his car. They saw the center console. He recognized a trap compartment commonly used to conceal narcotics. Officer's K-9 partner signaled, and of course, that was that. Part of why potentially he got pulled over is his rims. One of his rims was apparently loose, or one of his hubcaps was apparently loose.
He wasn't rolling like
he was
Houston.
rolling with swangers, and one of them was causing sparks to fly. If you're carrying around $100,000 worth of cocaine, maybe
you shouldn't be in the ride that was recently pimped.
Yeah, I'd probably just try and be in a car that doesn't bring attention to myself.
Yep,
would be my move.
Drive it to sell.
Yeah,
You don't need to be in the Riviera with the rolled back rims. You don't need to do that.
You don't. It's unnecessary.
And I hate those guys, by the way.
Yeah.
Gosh, I wish I had a car that I didn't care about, and I'd just go take one of those things out, just take off the hubcap, just rip it right off the side.
Take you out those big
It might very well be, but I'd give it the old college try. Dude, driving down the road with those things, that just annoys the beyond belief. I'd take it out.
Everywhere.
Now, remember Harvey Weinstein, his case got thrown out.
He's handsy. He's a feeler. He's a hugger.
Well, they had to retrial. They said, things weren't fair the first time. Well, good news. Yesterday he was convicted of one of the top charges in his sex crimes retrial, but acquitted of another. And jurors have yet to reach a verdict on a third charge. So now, Harvey's saying, my life's on the line. It's not fair. It's time to say this trial's over. But hashtag Me Too Part 2 still going underway. But, yeah, he was at least found guilty of one of those relating to Kaja Sokola. No, that's the one he was acquitted on. Right. Saja Sokola, who's the former model who alleged that he forced her to give oral pleasure to him. But he was convicted of forcibly subjecting Miriam Haley to a criminal sex act back in 2006 as well. The one that they're still deliberating on was the one about hairstylist and actor Jessica Mann, which is the one that they still have not decided on. They're still trying to change their minds, or they're deciding on if he's guilty, what degree of guilt he should have.
Amen.
But Harvey Weinstein, he's ready for it to be over.
So, man, just put him under the prison and let's move on.
Kanye has changed his name again.
to what?
Now, that Kanye was, he's been Ye just for a little while now. But now he's changed it again in California. The new documents say his name has gone from Ye to Yee. Yee.
Oh, man.
He's mental. He's so sick.
The fact that he's spending time and money.
Right?
I want to make sure when you write me a check or a letter, you writing it to the right guy. Legally, my government name is Yee.
Yee.
God, I wish I had that much time and money on my hands.
Yeah, I would have thought it would be like Ye Himmler or Ye Heydrich or something like that.
He is going that way.
He is kind of going that way, but he goes with Ye.
Did he hyphenate, or is it
just Ye?
Y-E?
No, Ye space.
Oh, a space. Is the...
Ye. Yeah,
right.
Not Ye like a yo-yo.
Did he say why? Because there's other Yees out there who's getting confused.
Imagine thinking about something that Kanye West has done and going, why? There's no sense in asking those questions.
Tell me why.
No, he doesn't know. I'm
not going to try to make sense out of nonsense, but I'd like to hear his excuse.
Ananda Lewis. Do you remember Ananda Lewis?
No.
She was the MTV VJ.
She looked like downtown Julie Brown.
She was a sister. She was a good-looking gal. She's I don't know, probably 7-8 years older than I was.
I think I was gone by that point. I don't think I was an MTV dude by that point.
But she passed away yesterday. She was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer back in 2020, and she opted to stave off traditional medical treatments for alternative methods. And now her family is saying that
that was a mistake.
They're wishing that she would have gone with the the traditional route, but she was afraid of radiation. Apparently, she was like,
yeah, that's brutal, man.
What's the guy's name in Better Call Saul? His brother. He had that same fear. Yeah.
Live in a dark house and wrap himself in foil.
Apparently so. Yeah, that's how she was rolling. You know what? Finally, what might be able to kill John Wick? The big question is, can anything kill John Wick? How about horrific box office performance might kill the John Wick series?
Ballerina
the ballerina movie, not good. It's not going well. Ballerina opened to $24.5 million domestically.
But Wick's not in it. Keanu's not in it, is he? It's just from the makers of, right?
Yeah. It's from that universe.
Yeah.
But it's made so far just over $50 million. $90 million budget, $1 billion franchise. They were hoping that this was going to be like a big deal. I don't think it's a big deal. I think had Keanu Reeves been in it,
I think so.
Oh, apparently he does appear.
Well, that's not enough.
Yeah, I think they need to build it around
is the
him.
ballerina, is she smoking hot at least?
Ana de Armas.
Oh yeah, she's
is her
smoking
name.
hot. That's a good choice.
Good looking gal.
Well, I'll watch it on Netflix.
Underperforming. Now remember, John Wick, the original, only made its debut weekend only made $14.4 million, but then it made $86 million, and then after that they were all like $73.8 million opening weekends for John Wick 4.
I will say I feel a little saturated with John Wick. Feels like I just saw the last of that series, that hotel one that they just feels like that was just out. So maybe it's just I'm worn out from it.
Maybe so. I mean, it's the great thing about John Wick movies is you don't have to think about it.
Well,
it's something you can just sit and watch and know that people are dying.
New and interesting ways to kill people.
Yeah, it's fun.
Beat them up.
I like to find different and unique ways to kill people.
But there's also a like some people are saying, well, maybe this thing can take off in the coming weeks, but unfortunately for them, a ton of big releases are coming in the next couple of weeks. How to Train Your Dragon.
I'm going to see that.
Materialists.
I don't know that.
28 Years Later. Elio, F1, and Megan 2.0 are all coming out in coming weeks, and all pretty big releases.
I'm going to have to see Megan 1.0.
Oh, you haven't seen Megan with the 3? Like M3
I've seen the
again?
previews. She's like a new
robot
doll.
gal.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah. I do want to see that. I want to see that F1 movie.
Oh yeah.
I don't care about F1, but I like Brad Pitt.
He's dreamy.
I feel he does good movies, so I'll watch that.
I get lost in his eyes.
But apparently Lionsgate already has several other John Wick spin-offs in the work. So
never to be released in a theater again, though. It'll be a much hyped Amazon Prime Netflix drop on a Tuesday night,
including John Wick 5, which stars Keanu Reeves.
So are they just going to try to find a body count? Are we chasing 5,000 people that he's killed?
I think they're going to do this until it's like Fast and the Furious. It doesn't matter who dies, just bring on another one. Bring on
his twin brother.
Bring in The Rock.
This time they killed his hamster.
It's about time.
It's all started when they killed his cat or dog.
His dog.
His dog. Killed his dog.
John Wick 7, starring The Rock.
The Rock.
Oh, who was it? Was it Theon? Who was it in Game of Thrones?
Theon?
Theon's the one who got neutered.
Okay, yeah. So he's the one who killed the dog.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, the dog's got him too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Dogs got him in Game of Thrones. The dogs got their vengeance.
Yes,
all right. When we come back, we will wrap up the show the way we always do by taking a look at the daily lines. It's the Morning Huddle on a small Friday, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
If you miss the Blitz with Jason and Joe, then you miss this.
See, I think you could have written a country song about this.
Absolutely.
Did you come up with... Marcy, I'm talking directly to you. We need a song about Kitty... What's its name? Kitty Big Balls. Sounds like a country song.
KBB for short.
Kitty Big Balls.
I sit
Right home with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6 on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
There's a reason Intuitive Services Group handles our janitorial needs here at 94.1. They're local and serious about cleanliness. From nightly cleaning to detailed floor care, they deliver. We trust them, and you can too. Call Mo at 830-470-3007. That's 830-470-3007.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
Please keep in mind during your stay, el perro es no comida.
What is he saying? Don't eat the dog. He's saying don't eat the dog. I know what that is.
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
When your business needs an electrician, for over 35 years, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio. Powered by relationships with dedicated estimators who analyze the issue, research cost-effective solutions, and clearly communicate the options without charging you a dime. A proven process that allows you to continue focusing on your unique purpose. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074. That's 404-9074. Or hill-electric.com.
Empower. Tim collects bobbleheads. A lot of bobbleheads. Baseball bobbleheads. Race car bobbleheads. Little chihuahua bobbleheads. He's got an entire room strictly for bobbleheads. Does he need them? No. Is his wife mad about it? A little. But Tim works with Empower, and he got good at money, so he can be a little bad. Ooh, horse bobblehead. Classy, Tim. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
When it comes to vaccines, it's important to get the facts. The City of San Antonio Metropolitan Health District knows that life moves fast, and the last thing you want is to miss out due to an illness. Vaccines are safe and help your immune system fight off serious disease that can stop or change your plans. They protect you, the people you love, and can prevent you from getting sick. Let's get vaccinated, because when it comes to your health, it's time to get real about vaccines and get the facts. For more information, visit sa.gov/health.
Hi, this is Joe Reinagle. You're listening to the home of the Texas Rangers, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
They play this in the arena at every UFC, like before the main card starts, and there's like a montage of all like the greatest knockouts of all time. It's so badass to see in person.
Yeah, it's one of the great rock songs of all time.
I love this song.
Oh, yes. Baba.
Roger Daltrey.
Boom, boom. This is like a Rush for people who have balls. That's right.
Geddy Lee is going to come kick your ass.
You won't kick John Bonham's ass.
No. Have to dig his ass up.
Out here in the fields, fought for my meals. All right. Oh, sing it. Go ahead and sing it for me, baby.
They're back on tour.
I fought for my meals. Yeah, are they really?
Yeah, they're hitting the road.
They gonna play Texas?
I hope.
I've never seen The Who.
I have. I've actually seen them.
I would love to see them, man.
Pete Townshend's always been a kind of a musical influence. Been a fan. Yeah.
You modeled your music after him?
Well, what I do is I smash my guitar every time I play it.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So you won't have to play it.
Yeah. So I've already ruined it, so I might as well put it out of its misery. But I'm following old Pete.
Okay, here it comes. Dun, dun, dun.
John Entwistle on bass.
Yeah. What a band.
Yeah, great
Very
band.
underrated, I think.
Well,
kind of overshadowed because they were out around the same time as like Zeppelin and the Stones.
And I was more of a Zeppelin, less of a Zeppelin, more of a Who and Stones guy.
Here it is, Vic.
Here it comes.
Don't cry. Don't waste your eyes.
What's the song?
It's only Baba O'Reilly.
That's it, Baba O'Reilly.
Teenage Wasteland. Yeah! All right. Enough of this, Vic. Enough. Come Come on. People get annoyed when I sing. Quit trying to talk me into singing.
Wilson Phillips coming up next.
Okay. Well, in the next segment. You guys wait around for that next segment.
At 9:05 every
All
day.
right, let's
Or
10:05. We'll come back with that.
A Wilson Phillips set.
Unless
all
we get
acoustic.
Unless we get preempted by something else. I don't know. Right. Let's do what we always do to wrap up the show, though. Let's take a look at the daily lines.
It's the Morning Huddle's look at the daily lines with AJ and Rob on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Mentioned Oklahoma City -6, some 6.5 starting to pop up. So you were right; they are going to take a little bit of money. It looks like. I would expect this thing to close over 6.
I do too.
I don't know if it'll get to 7, but I think it'll at least maybe 6.5 when we close. Total knocked down again, 225.5. It got knocked from yesterday morning when we did the show. It was 228, which was down a half point from game 2, and then game 3 went from 228 on yesterday morning to closing at 226. Yeah. 2 points on game day is a lot. Usually, especially, I mean, it's not a lot if it were a regular season game, but a finals game where the total's been up for 4 days, that means some big money came in on the under, and those guys got paid off the total landed at 223. So the books adjust. 225.5 is your number for game 4. I believe it because I think it's going to be similar to that game 4, that Nuggets series, where it's just a slow, grimy, where the Thunder prioritize defense
and hold the ball.
Yep. So I think the under is the way to go, but now we're getting down into a number that I'm not really crazy about. I liked it better when it was way up at like 228, but that's why it's hard to win betting these things, especially big games. In the NHL, speaking of big games, game 4 tonight between the Panthers and the Oilers. Panthers up to a -150 favorite.
All right, tell me about Edmonton. Do they got it in them? Can they do this?
I think it's going to be 3-1 after
What's
tonight.
His name? Connor McDavid?
Connor McDavid. Yeah, I think it's going to be 3-1 after tonight. Money's come in on the under, though. 6.5 is the total, but now it's juiced to the under, -125.
Is that because of Panthers' D, not Edmonton's D?
I think we saw that the Sergei Bobrovsky, who is the best goalie in the world, showed up in game 3, and it was like, oh, if he's going to hold these guys to 1, then the Panthers aren't going to score 6 goals again. But if Bobrovsky does his job, then it's going to be a pretty low-scoring game. So there you go. There's the game. But I do expect this thing to be over pretty quickly. I think I saw the light go out in the eyes of the Oilers in game 3.
Felt that way.
They got beat up on the ice, and then they tried to fight, and they got beat up fighting. It was just like it feels like the walls are crumbling for them. Major League Baseball. Mike Soroka goes for the Nationals. Kodai Senga goes for the Mets.
I'm a fan of Senga, man.
Forkball.
That dude's got it. 6 strikeouts the other night. He fans them. People are flummoxed.
How good
perplexed
is Kodai Senga? How about so far 1.59 ERA? He's pretty strong.
Ghost forkball.
Pretty good. Pretty good. 1.59. That'll get the job done. The Mets favored heavily, -224 to get the job done against the Nationals. It's Patrick Corbin Day. The Rangers +140 in Minnesota. Bailey Ober going for the Twins, -170. Hayden Birdsong goes for the Giants. They're on the road, -205 favorites, going up against Antonio Cinzatella in the Colorado Rockies. Hey, Antonio, you get the ball today. Get ready to get your ass kicked, huh?
You're talking to me.
Hey, Cinzatella.
I'm pitching here.
Hey, Cinzatella, you suck. What's going on? Hey, Antonio, you can't pitch. Cinzatella +167. Gigantic favorites are the Giants, the Gigantites. Detroit Tigers, pretty big favorites too, -195. You know
Best
why?
pitcher in baseball right now?
Scoobly doobly, Tarek Skubal, -195. They're in Baltimore taking on Dean Kramer and the Baltimore Orioles.
My accountant.
Will Warren goes for the Yankees. That's another accountant name, Will Warren.
Will Warren and Dean Kramer.
Yep. Minus 155 are the Yanks on the road in Kansas City. Seth Lugo going for the Royals. Sonny Gray and the Cardinals, minus 140 favorites on the road. Jacob Mizorowski going for the Brew Crew. Andrew Haney and the Pirates are in Chicago to take on Jameson Taillon and the Cubs. The Cubbies, minus 205 favorites. Davis Martin and the White Sox are in Houston to take on the first-place Astros. Framber Valdez goes for the Stros.
Hot as fish grease, Framber.
Stros, minus 230.
Should be.
Pretty heavy favorites today. And it is the White Sox.
And Framber's throwing. I mean, he's looking good last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I saw a thing on The Athletic about who has good reputations as an organization, who has bad reputations, like who would you want to play for?
Like the Cowboys, I mean the NFL secret poll kind of stuff.
And it's like the White Sox, the A's, the Rays, they're all like, oh yeah, this you don't want to play here.
Well, 2 of those teams are living in AAA dugouts and in the Hotel 6.
You don't want to play. I wonder how much the image of the A's change once they get to Vegas.
It will be a total 180. Are you kidding?
I think so too.
They're playing in Sacramento, and they're going to be playing at the end of the strip.
Part.
Yeah, they're going to be at the end of the strip. And have you seen a mock-up of that?
Oh, it's amazing. It looks like the Sydney Opera House.
Yeah.
In the Lady Basketball Association, the WNBA Atlanta Dream, 9.5-point favorites over the Chicago Sky. Sky led by MVP candidate Angel Reese. And the Dallas Wings look to spread their wings in Vegas against the Aces. The Aces, 10-point favorites.
Paige went off for like 35 last night.
Yeah, good sports game player. Paige Beckers is. So, that's her first game back, I think. And the latest odds on the College World Series, still hovering around the same. Arkansas still a slight favorite, plus 195. LSU plus 230. For your College World Series. That gets underway tomorrow. And now that we've played some golf.
Do we have a new leader?
This is why I said yesterday, Scotty Scheffler, what are you betting him at? What's the number? Now it's plus 320. Give me a bad round for Scotty Scheffler. Let's jump in on Scheffler if he has a bad day today. That's what I'm hoping for.
One bad day?
Rory, though, is up to plus 850. Ludwig Oberg up to 9-1. Based on what they've done so far today. No word yet. Phil Mickelson still seems like a pretty long shot. How about 200-1 if you think Phil Mickelson can win the U.S.
Open? He's tied for 12 through 8.
He's hanging in. And if you think, let's see, Alvaro Ortiz, if you think he can win, he is 5,000-1. Something's 5,000-1. Don't you got to put $1 on it?
So you're saying there's a chance?
There's a lot of guys at 5,000-1. George Dwangmany is 5,000-1. I've never heard of him, but sounds good enough. Maxwell Moldovan, 5,000-1.
That's not real.
Cameron Tankersley, 5,000-1. Alistair Doherty, 5,000-1. I kind of want to take a shot with some of these guys. Yuta Sugiura.
I like Yuta though.
He's 2,500-1.
I say that. I've never heard of this guy.
Well, of course. How about Jacques Krushwich?
Oh, of course. Jacques Krushwich?
Yes, of course. Everyone knows him. So there you go. There's your look at the daily lines. Oh, yes. I'm trying to pull up that story from the Major League Baseball teams, like who they'd want to play with and who they didn't want to play with. See if I can find that. Oh, here it is. The anonymous poll.
I love the anonymous
poll. Major League Baseball.
So you're going to tell me? You're going to name my name?
No. Oh, well, I'll say anything in that case. I'll say whatever. Where are we at? Oh no, this is the anonymous poll for what players they like. I'm looking for the anonymous poll about these teams.
I want to know the most overrated player in baseball according to others.
That might be in the anonymous poll I was looking at.
Well, that's if it's going to be anonymous, you might as well take advantage
Which
of it.
player do you like watching play the most? Shohei Ohtani, 29 votes out of 135. Bobby Witt Jr. came second with 14.
And not Judge?
Judge was 6th on the list. Acuna, Ellie De La Cruz, and Mookie Betts all ahead of Aaron Judge. I mean, he's not that fun. He's just a big, strong guy who hits home runs.
Yeah, chicks dig the long ball, though, you know?
What hitter would you least want to pitch against in Game 7 of the World Series?
Shohei.
He's 2nd place.
Judge.
3rd place.
Mookie. Freddie Freeman.
4th place.
Freddie Freeman.
Tied for 4th place. Juan Soto.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, if he's happy, if he's self-actualized and likes where he lives, I'm all for Juan Soto.
What pitcher would you least want to face at the plate in Game 7 of the World Series?
Oh, right now? He's got because I want to say Scooble, but
he's 2nd.
Yeah.
He got 5 votes.
What can we go ghost forkball on this?
No.
Although he's never been there.
Chris Sale got number 1. He got 8 votes. Paul Skeens got 3 votes, something we never have to worry about.
So Sale is still on the front of mind.
Yeah,
he's vicious.
Guy who's been there and done it. Here it is. The teams that they do and don't want to play for. The Texas Rangers got a positive reputation. 14 thought they had a good reputation. 0 said they have a bad reputation.
Well, brand new building, they'll spend money.
Dodgers have the best reputation. 82 out of 126 said they have a good reputation.
You mean the place with the unlimited bank account and 9 Hall of Famers playing for them currently? Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, although where's the Padres on this list? Padres had 7 good, 3 down, even though the Padres have been spending money like crazy.
Yeah, but that locker room's nuts.
The teams with the worst reputation, 0 positives, 19 negatives for the Angels. 24 for the Pirates. 25 for the Marlins and the Rockies, 31 for the White Sox, 39 for the Athletics.
So you don't need, I'm about to say, so the A's don't even, are they not voting?
They were the worst. All right, man, that does it for us. Yeah, don't make excuses for Oklahoma City, AJ. Nope. They stink.
We'll tell you how they're going to do it
Oklahoma City, no good. Losers. We'll talk about that game 4 coming up tomorrow. Blitz coming up at 2. Listen to that program, please. Morning Huddle 94.1.
Riding the work with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. It's the Morning Huddle, KTFM Floresville.